Thank you so much, Michael. Can't thank you enough, man. Great way to start it off. Can't thank you. All right, what do you say we just get right into it? What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for joining me once again. I'm Boston Bryant. This is Blonde Politics. What do you say we welcome the best chat on earth while everybody's filtering and making their way in? Please hit that like button as you do join the chat. Hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 20,000 subscribers right off the bat. Thank you, Michael. No, wait, another one? Wait, was that two of them? Michael, oh my goodness, dude. You are unbelievable. Thank you so much, brother. I thought I was seeing double there. I didn't know if I clicked the wrong one, if I clicked the same one. Unbelievable. Thank you so much, Michael. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that, how necessary that is. Some personal announcements I have to make coming up in the show. We'll probably leave that to the end, so stick around to the end. But, Michael, what a fantastic way to kick this off. Lots to talk about and discuss today. But first off, like I said, let me bring in and congratulate the chat and say thank you to the chat for everything that they've done and continue to do for this show. But Michael, just unbelievable, brother. Can't thank you enough. Thank you so much, and very much appreciate having you here in this chat for multiple reasons. So appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody else that's joining me as well. Debbie, William, Thanos, Pam, all you guys. I appreciate it. What's up, Julie? Hey, Rocks, all the mods. Thank you so much for everything that you do and keeping this chat a safe place. Obviously, a lot to discuss again today as the tensions continue to rise in the country, as Donald Trump now talks about enacting the Insurrection Act. Things are ratcheting up, let's just say. So we'll be discussing a lot of that today. Let me put on the screen just a few of the things we'll be talking about today. Once again, thank you to the chat as I stow you away for the day. Appreciate you guys. But yeah, we'll be taking a look at a little bit of, the CBS Chicago video, tensions high in Minneapolis after ICE agents shoot a man in the leg. I know we tried doing our best to kind of cover that live as it was happening yesterday, but there was only a little bit of information that had really come out since then. To tell you the truth, I really haven't had too much more details come my way as far as the shovel or the broom handle like that as it was a Venezuelan migrant is what I have been told or if I've seen reported. But we'll dive into this CBS News clip here to see if we can get anything. Oh, thank you, Carl. Thank you, brother. You guys are amazing. It's not 100. Thanks, Michael, but here's some bucks for a hamburger. Dude, literally all I ask for is $1 or $2. Like I said, there's a PayPal up in the corner. It switches every now and again between PayPal and Venmo. So if you have either one of those, you can see just up in the corner there. That is the most fantastic way, quickest way, best way to help the channel. And again, all I ask for is $1 or $2. So Kyle, you're already 20 times that, and Michael McAndrews just blew it all out of the water. So thank you to you both, and please don't think for a second that those are required amounts for donations to help the show. That's just not it. You guys are just more than fantastic. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you. But yeah, we're going to be discussing all of that. Appreciate you, Kyle. Appreciate you, Evie's on. Thank you to everybody on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Again, make sure you hit those respective like buttons, the thumbs up, whatever it may be on that platform. We're going to be taking a look at some of the live streams as we have been. Again, we're going to be focused and keeping tabs on what the fuck's going on inside of the streets. The actions on ICE, again, the rhetoric of Donald Trump trying to, invoke the Insurrection Act or at least threatening it at this point in time. So we got this to take a look at. I know Mercado Media is out on the streets as he has been. So we got that to dive into as well. We'll also be talking about, obviously, the CNN clip kind of focusing more on what the Insurrection Act would mean if it was enacted and what Donald Trump's statements actually were. We'll be discussing this protester that was blinded by federal agents in OC. He's now speaking out, so I wanted to touch base on that. What else do we got? Oh, Jesus Christ. Again, as if this country isn't messed up enough, as if there isn't enough examples to show you how messed up and detached from reality this government and Donald Trump specifically and his cohorts are. I mean, this is just a little clip of what is taking place at Mar-a-Lago. And boy, I thought they hated furries. Like, I thought they always thought that, like, the people that dressed up in furries, you know what I mean? Like, dressed up as cats and dogs and stuff, they didn't like them. They thought that was like liberal. But apparently they love it now because they had like a furry party at Mar-a-Lago. Again, we'll be checking in on that just to show the blatant hypocrisy and like the disconnect between the struggling Americans and what's taking place on the streets right now. And again, what was taking place at Mar-a-Lago. I mean, it's literally a one-to-one connection of what like was taking place at Hitler's chalet, right? As you know, during the worst of the worst that was taking place on the Eastern Front, right? God knows how many Nazi soldiers, how many German soldiers dying every single day, right? Not to mention, all nationalities, all countries that were involved at that point, Russian too. But I mean, to think that, while that's going on, Hitler and Speer and fucking Bormann and all his cohorts, they're kind of dancing around, having the time of their lives up at, the Berghof, up at Hitler's fucking, one of the apartments that he's got, or, again, at the chalets that he's definitely got. And then like the detachment from reality of like the death, the destruction, the bloodshed, like the utter fucking degradation of humanity and fucking like all that is holy on the front. And then you juxtapose that with what's taking place at Mar-a-Lago and again, and all of these fucking highfalutin parties that were taking place, in any war, I'm sure, as the soldiers are getting their asses kicked, as they're dying on the front lines, you get the billionaires and the people making the weapons and the ones that sent them to war, partying it up in back rooms, smoking cigar, drinking whiskey. So I wanted to dive into a little bit of Tim Walz's video that he put out as well. I think this is from a couple days ago, but we haven't had the time to dump into it. And I just want to go, Tim Walz is now asking the American people to do exactly what I've been asking you guys to do for at least 4 months now. For at least 4 months now, if not longer, and I had the video to prove it, right? I dug back just a little bit as far as I could go. This was over 3 months ago that I posted this video, and this may not even be the first time that I mentioned hashtag film and follow. Follow these ICE officials, follow these ICE agents, film them everywhere you go so we have evidence, so we can document it, right? So now it's just kind of seeping through to the higher ups here in our politics. And this is nothing against Tim Walz, but again, I just want to reiterate, this is something that I've been saying for months and months and months now. I know I don't have the platform or the reach to get it out to the masses the way that Tim Walz does. But again, you're getting, similar things that you're hearing 3 months later, 4 months later, you were hearing on Blunt Politics, again, months ago when this all fucking started to kick off. So again, just a little pat on the back. We'll be talking about that. Also, the Mediaite article that just came out this morning talking about podcaster and ex-Navy SEAL Sean Ryan and how he's kind of distraught about what's been going on and how he's turning on the White House and Donald Trump about the Epstein files. So lots to get into, a lot more than that too. Obviously, there's some headlines, and obviously, we're talking about Europe now sending troops into Greenland. We just heard on the last show Donald Trump talking about how Greenland's defenses basically consisted of like 2 dog sleds. Well, that just changed. Again, even we know that wasn't the case, but even if we were to kind of stipulate what Donald Trump said, that just changed because Trump doesn't. European troops have now arrived in Greenland, let's just say. And obviously, this video that we tried to dive into yesterday, but didn't have enough time, about the Russian soldiers disappearing in Ukraine. Hopefully, we have time to dive into all that and more. So I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. I'm Boston Bryant. This is Blunt Politics. What do you say we dive into it? Let's get into a little bit of this CBS Chicago video talking about how the tensions remain high in Minneapolis. And again, we're just going to kind of skim through these first few accounts between Mercado Media, between Status Quo and Midas Touch, and kind of get a glimpse of what's taking place and what has been taking place over the last, several hours, last night into today. And again, what's happening and taking place today. But let's just dive into this video to get a little better idea of what's happening. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button.
More clashes breaking out between ICE agents and protesters in Minneapolis after a second shooting by federal agents. As CBS News' Jared Hill reports, U.S. officials say an ICE agent fired at a Venezuelan migrant after the agents were attacked by men with shovels.
And again, that's about the gist of the story. The information that I've seen kind of been released. I know people have been speculating, but nothing really confirmed. All that you can hear is, again, it was either like a broomstick or a shovel or something like that. That's kind of like the main theme of it being reported. And again, the man being Venezuelan. So if anybody knows anything above and beyond that in the chat, please let me know. I'm more than happy to listen to the people in the chat, because you are always well informed, and there's always more of you than there are of me. So that's why I'm willing to listen to you guys. So let's go.
New clashes between protesters and law enforcement overnight in Minneapolis, sparked by yet another shooting by federal agents. The city's mayor, Jacob Frey, is pleading for calm.
Go home. We cannot counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos.
The Department of Homeland Security said a Venezuelan migrant was shot in the leg after he and 2 other people attacked a federal agent with shovels and a broomstick during an arrest operation Wednesday evening. DHS.
And if I could just touch for a moment on like one of the interviews recently that Jacob Fry was giving and some of the statements that he was saying and how kind of nervous that should make the American people above and beyond them posting, our home will be our home again, the clear KKK white nationalist slogan, rhetoric, song used by them, not to mention the graphics and the fucking recruitment tactics used to go specifically after white nationalists. But again, if you look at this on the whole and we kind of take this as like on the broader like spectrum here, it's kind of like it's similar to, and let me just go back here, let me see, because I think he just said right there,
the man,
because I don't know if they show it in this, but Jacob Fry pretty much is questioned like, doesn't the state police, don't the local police, don't they kind of have the jurisdiction to make sure that these people, these fucking ICE Gestapo agents, aren't attacking the American populace, the American public, as they're engaging in their First Amendment right to protest peacefully? Like, isn't that something? And, Jacob Fry's response to that was something that was quite alarming. Like, there are more of them than there are of us. They're better funded, and they have bigger guns, right? And again, I know that kind of takes a little bit of reading between the lines, but not that much. Right. So basically saying that we don't have the confidence that if we were to step up, right, and kind of, interject ourselves into the situation to kind of combat what ICE is doing to protect them. Like, we're not sure, we're not trustworthy enough of that fucking agency to say that they will not just combat us the same way that they're combating, the American populace. Right. And they have bigger guns. They have more of them, clearly, with the new funding that they're getting. They got a lot more fucking money. So basically, when the state is too afraid, and the state and the federal forces, right, is what we have going on right here. When they're that close and the tension is that high and they're that fucking scared to combat each other because of something kicking off again between state, local, and federal forces, like that is, I don't know, almost definitionally the use of what a civil war is. And again, I hate to even bring that up. I hate to even mention it, but I don't know how else you would go to describe that. And again, when the state and the local resources are at direct war, direct conflict, what the federal forces are doing, and the military and ICE and DHS and Homeland Security. I mean, again, definitionally, what else do you call that? Then, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I saw that interview and I was like, okay, like, a lot of people are saying still to this moment, like, it's kind of hyperbolic what some people are saying. I tell those people to fuck off. I think you're living in a fucking fantasy land if you think anything that anybody's saying right now is hyperbolic, especially when you have state and local officials, again, like Jacob Fry, clearly saying that these fucking masked vigilantes, these Gestapo thugs working directly for the government, have bigger guns, they have more of them, and we don't fucking trust them. That's a problem.
After he fled a traffic stop. They say after the shooting, he and others barricaded themselves inside an apartment.
Eventually, federal agents made entry into the residence.
And again, this is just more on that second shooting, talking more about a traffic stop, an alleged attack, fleeing the scene. And then this is kind of, again, the generic bullshit kind of statements that they're giving. Again, no direct information correlation as to, what the man's wanted for, his criminal record as far as I've seen. And it's leading to more of situations like this. Because again, this is just a quick New York Post video. And this is describing ICE agents drag people out of cars in front of protesters. This is another video that a lot of people are talking about what looks to be, in my eyes, from what I've seen and what I can see clearly in the video, just kind of like a confused woman, right? Doesn't know which way to go, doesn't know to go backwards, forwards, is clearly talking to the ICE officials, doesn't seem to be posing any threat. And then you can see what ensues after this. So again, the woman, keep your eyes on the woman in the black car behind these officers. Right now, they're really not even paying attention to her. She's just kind of sitting there in the road, and then you watch.
Back the up!
So you get the single fucking ICE agent or whatever the fuck he is approach the vehicle, right? You got one from the other side. So far, nothing's kind of kicked off. Nothing's happening. The situation, there's horns and whistles going off. But as far as, the scene, nobody's getting tackled or shot or sprayed or anything like that. Nobody's getting fucking dragged out of their vehicles. Everything's kind of somewhat kosher at this point, right? Nope, they can't let that stay.
Shame on you! Force is not law! Force is not law! You are
So now you got more and more people starting to surround it.
Following the law.
She's got her hands up. Right at that moment in time, she clearly had her hands up to the officer that was at the window. Like, listen, I'm not reaching for anything. I'm not posing a threat. I'm just kind of here giving you my opinion, telling you my fucking, giving you my side of the story, protesting the way that I want to. I'm going to park down there, whatever the fuck she's saying, right? But clearly not posing a threat, not wielding a weapon, nothing like that. And it's the guy on the other side that breaks her fucking passenger side window, even though officers are clearly in contact with the woman through her driver's side window that's down in clear communication. He decides to escalate it once again by smashing the passenger side window. Check it out.
This is not law. You are not following the law.
Right? So the guy runs up. And I don't know if you guys can hear what she's saying, but I believe she said something along the lines of, I'm disabled. I have to go to the doctor's. I have a doctor's appointment up there. That's why I was going up there. That's what she's saying. Again, look what happens to the scene. Look what happens to the scene. The moment that they escalate it, the scene kicks off like it's a volcano. Like it just erupts. And it's every single time in every single video that I've watched, it's these fucking thugs, the guys in the mask with the body armor and the fucking cosplay that all weigh 287 pounds plus, that couldn't run from here to the end of the fucking vehicle without passing out from exhaustion, that fucking, that kicks off the scene, that escalates the situation. That's every single fucking video that I've seen. I mean, again, I haven't corroborated or confirmed the fact, if she has a doctor's appointment or an office even close there, but still, why would you not take the woman's word for it? Clearly wasn't posing a threat, was clearly communicating with you. The window's down. She wasn't being obtuse or anything, you know what I mean? Like, and then as she's being pulled out, she says, I'm disabled. I believe she says she has autism. I'm not, believe me, I know it went quick, but I believe at one point she says she's autistic. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm in the wrong on that one. I thought I heard that. And again, they don't treat her any differently. They don't treat her with any more care, right? Nothing. They just continue to escalate, and then it kicks off throughout the whole scene, and that leads to more people being brutalized, more people being hurt, more people being thrown to the ground, more people possibly being shot. Right, Nick, and that's all it should take, right? They like, this lady shouldn't have to fucking pull out a doctor's note. She shouldn't have to pull out her cell phone and be like, okay, yep, my doctor's office is here. Here's my medical record. Right? These people should hear, okay, I'm disabled, and be like, okay, immediately, the fucking situation should change. The way they're handling the situation should change. The tactics should change. The protocol, I'm sure, immediately fucking changes. If we look at, if we were to dive into police policy, police protocol, DHS policy, dealing with somebody that's disabled above somebody that's clearly, an able-bodied person, I'm sure the way that you fucking treat them is supposed to be different, right? So the lady saying, hey, I'm disabled, does not change a goddamn thing. Did not change the escalation of it. And again, putting people in danger like this is not protecting the public. The public was way safer when that lady was in her vehicle still yelling at you guys than they are right now, where everything has just kicked off. So again, that's just one instance. I know people have been rightly upset about that. This is, again, a 6-minute look at this situation. So this continues to kick off, right? If you go ahead, look at, this is several minutes after that, right? People continue to show up to the scene. More officers show up. They escalate. They take more people into custody. So again, it's just like a big fucking domino effect that they initiated, the same way they initiated the instance in the situation with Renee Nicole Good. Same exact fucking way, and they're leading and they're responsible for the fucking end goal, for the end, for the end result of these situations. And it just continues, you know what I mean? Like I said, there's video after video. I know Mercado Media, shout out to Mercado Media, is out there and has been. This is a live look. Let me see if I can get to the live. Yeah, this is a live look at the Whipple building, outside the Whipple building, that we've been kind of checking in on every day to see what's going on. Again, the main focus, as far as I can tell, is to hold up and kind of detain, so to speak, as many ICE officers, DHS officers, or whatever at this scene, so there's less of them to go out and harass and intimidate the public. So again, if you go back, I believe even this situation was kicking off not that long ago. Yeah, so this is what it looked like. It was peaceful, and then it looks like this not that long ago. So let me dive into this. So again, remember how we were talking about yesterday that every hour or so often, I'm sure it's not like on the dot, but every so often these assholes will come out just to kick up dust, right? Just so they could come shoot some pepper balls, just so they could throw some flashbangs. They'll pull some, a couple people into custody for absolutely no reason whatsoever, and they'll escalate the situation, hoping that the reaction will come from the other side, right? So I'm assuming this is what's happening, because as you can see, it doesn't look like the protesters are doing anything worthy of the reaction that we're about to see. Right, you got one guy with a bullhorn. Everybody's just kind of behind the lines, kind of following, talking, yelling, doing what they do as far as protesting. And let's see what the reaction is.
Bless America, I love Donald Trump. God bless America, I love Donald Trump.
Okay, so he's an agitator. So we got an agitator here, clearly being let. And again, good evidence here. Good evidence. What is ICE doing anything to stop this guy that could potentially, again, lead to violence, could lead to, a kickoff of the scene? Are they doing anything to get him out of there? Are they doing anything to make sure that he stays behind the lines, that the so-called lefty protesters that aren't lefty protesters, that are just pissed off Americans, have to stay behind? No. He's fine. He's good. He can chant and do whatever he wants. He can go as close to the police as he wants. He's protected by them. And I'm sure what happens, and I'm just guessing here, I'm kind of speculating, people get pissed off with this kid, something happens, and then the police have to go in and defend him, which is the situation that this leads to when they're, again, buddy with, shoulder to shoulder, and allowing this fucking shit to happen. And again, nothing to say that he's not, got the ability to go out there and shout his opinion too. But the fact of the matter is that he's got this tacit protection. Like, it looks like he's on the opposite side. He's not part of the protesters. Like, he's got this, this special fucking permission to be where he is. That sends a bad signal. It's not just a bad signal. It sends the correct signal. It sends an accurate signal of who these fuckers are standing behind him.
Got the immigrants fell on me. Oh no.
Again, too cowardly to fucking take off the mask, though. He's not proud enough in his beliefs. He's not proud enough in his fucking, love for ICE and hatred for immigrants to even remove his mask. That's how proud these people are. And again, I'm just going to, for the sake of time, we'll skip forward. But you can feel the tension, right? You can feel how he's an agitator. He's trying to agitate the crowd. He's trying to rile up the crowd. He's trying to invoke a reaction from the crowd, right? And you can feel the tension rise and rise. More people following him, people getting closer and closer. And that's exactly what these fucking thugs on the left are waiting for. Anybody touches him, anybody gets too close, if he feels threatened or whatever, and they'll come right in, they'll rush in, they'll start fucking pepperballing, flash banging, they'll get him out of there, they'll make sure he's safe.
Doing what the fuck he wants.
Hey, that's next.
So again, I'm just kind of skipping through quickly here because I believe they do. Yeah, here's where they kind of intercede here. The flashbang's already going off. You can hear the pepper ball guns already going off. People being tackled already. Again, this was just not, 3.5 minutes ago, a clearly peaceful scene that was not even close to sparking up like this, but an agitator, a right-wing agitator, again, allowed by ICE officials, DHS officials, and these fucking mass thugs to do and to stir up shit. And then again, the moment he feels threatened or the moment somebody touches him, they got to rush in, they bum rush the crowd, they get the fucking agitator out, and they arrest about 9 or 10 more people that are peacefully protesting, or at least were. So again, you got situations like this, and then, you know what I mean? And then it goes back to situations like this. Here's a live look at the scene.
No problem.
And again, this is what the situation typically looks like. This is how the people are typically out there protesting. Again, when they're not being fucking, agitated, when there aren't being like clear Nazis and bigoted thugs out there protected by ICE, literally begging for a fucking reaction. And then when these ICE officials come out every 10, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever it may be, to come out and just randomly tackle people, that kicks shit up too. So again, we'll just for the sake of time, let's dive into because of all of this, because of the anger now seen and shown by the American people, Donald Trump is now threatening the Insurrection Act, which again is something I don't think he's going to like. If he actually does, I'm not sure the reaction that he thinks he's going to get or the reaction that's going to come from that is what's actually going to take place. So this is just a quick CNN clip about Donald Trump. Again, I think it was this morning, if I'm not mistaken, or late last night, putting out a Truth Social, again, referencing and threatening the Insurrection Act. So I just wanted to dive into about a minute or two of this, just to kind of get everybody up to speed on his post. And then we'll dive on to some of the other stories. Again, another protester here speaks out about how he was blinded. I mean, you can see the clear-cut injury that he faced there. And then also, we got a ton of stuff to dive into as well. We'll be looking at this ridiculous party in Mar-a-Lago, Tim Walz's statement in the video that he put out. So stick with me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you again to Michael McAndrews for starting the chat off in a fantastic way as far as contributions. Thank you, Carl, as well, for being right behind him. And thank you, everybody else, for your kind and generous donations to the show, whether via Venmo or Super Chat or Super Sticker, whatever it may be, signing up for a membership, patreon.com. My Substack's totally free, so head over to Substack. You don't have to pay for that. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. I really do. Let's dive into, again, Donald Trump threatening the Insurrection Act and what that may look like. Oops, sorry. No, that's Mar-a-Lago. That's the video. There we go. Okay.
A new and serious threat after protests in Minneapolis grew even more chaotic overnight. And there was another shooting involving a federal agent. This agent allegedly ambushed. The president posting this, we'll put it up for you, saying that if Minnesota's politicians don't obey the law.
All right, so I'll just read it for you. Let's just read this out loud. So this is Donald Trump's post. And again, January 15, 2026, 8:04 a.m. If the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act, which many presidents have done before me, and quickly put an end to the travesty that is taking place in the once great state. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Big, giant dickhead, Donald Trump. So again, that's just the statement that he put out. And for the sake of time, we'll go on.
But that
kind of get their
Toil
coverage
in
here.
that state. Elena, let me start with you. This has now been taken to a whole new level by the president with this threat. What are you hearing about this?
Yeah, this is a very big deal. And I should know that this is something we've heard President Trump, of course, threaten in the past. He did so during his first term, particularly around the George Floyd protests that had erupted in 2020. But he also recently did it as well when talking about, wanting to crack down on, different types of protests, but even more specifically, maybe having the military help with law enforcement and trying to crack down on crime and deportation.
And again, we're talking to an even like a level that hasn't been seen yet, even on the streets today, as far as military use, right? As far as how far he'd be willing to go to send actual fucking military. I know what we're looking at now is like the cosplay type of assholes, but we're talking about like legit at this point, military going into cities and towns. And again, I don't think he's quite going to get the reaction that he thinks he's going to get from that. Like, I don't think everybody's just going to run back into their homes and be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, all that protest and all the anger I feel now, you're right. I don't really feel that because you now sent in our own military against us. Like, that's not just going to kick shit up a notch, 10 notches, above and beyond what's taking place now.
In cities like Los Angeles, Portland, and Chicago. But part of the reason this is such a big deal, let me just break down what the Insurrection Act actually is.
Listen to this part.
It is a 19th century law. It's normally considered a last resort for presidents, but it gives presidents the authority to call on active duty military. So you could see potentially people like the Marines or soldiers, National Guard included in that, going into the streets of U.S. cities for law enforcement activities. And it's
and again,
used only
as far as for all the rhetoric and talk, and justifiably so to a certain extent, of everybody being like military in the cities, military in our own states and towns, right? we haven't fucking seen shit yet, if that's what you're talking about. Wait till, again, you start seeing Marines and Navy SEALs and shit roaming in town, and not these cosplay fat fuck losers wearing masks and shit who don't have the proper training, right? I mean, we're talking about legit forces with legit equipment above and beyond at the point that the funding that the ICE even has, you know what I mean? So again, this is a huge ramp up and escalation if this is something that he actually undertakes. And I want to continue to reiterate that he's not going to get the reaction that he thinks it's going to get. It's just going to be 1,000 times worse.
In certain specific cases, it can be used at the objection of local leaders. And so that carries its own weight here. Now, in my conversations with Trump officials, this was true during the first term, but even more so now, I should argue, in the president's second term, they have essentially told me that this is something they do not want, that they've been very hesitant to essentially go there despite the president threatening this. Some of that is because of the legal complications, but even more so because of the political ones. And you know,
because they know what that will look like. Like, it's one thing saying it, right? It's one thing threatening it. But it's another thing when you see what's actually taking place on the streets of our cities right now, when you actually see the anger and the frustration of people and how willing they are, and the variety of people on the streets right now that, again, are taking shifts that are, you know, when one person has to go to work, another person is arriving. When one mother has to go pick up their children, another one just dropped them off and has that person's, you know, takes that person's place in the streets. That's what we're seeing right now, day in and day out. People like Mercado and Midas and Status Quo and Jolly Good Ginger and fucking, you know, all the other great people, Oja, that are doing some great reporting out there. People are out there and they're staying out there. That's just the fact of the matter. And when you add in on top of that, and not just kind of like this, like, tattered political fucking system that we have, when you're actually talking and looking at what we're seeing take place right the fuck now, and then adding on top of that, threatening the Insurrection Act and actual fucking military in the streets, that's an issue. We got fucking issues. We got serious fucking issues.
Having this type of law enforcement, military in the streets, of course, would potentially escalate things so much further. And so this has all been a calculation.
Which is, again, the understatement of the century. Nothing against whoever this reporter is by any stretch of the imagination, but absolutely the understatement of the century on that. Okay, we're talking about I don't even like Tiananmen Square type shit. And again, if we're looking at injuries like this take place, and again, this is just one of the more mild injuries that we've seen. Nothing, not to downplay anything that this kid went through, but we've seen some obviously death of, you know what I mean. We've seen some fucking horrendous injuries from the flashbangs, from the pepper balls, shot in the face, much like this kid. So this is just one aspect, and this is a protester blinded by federal agent in OC speaks out. And again, I just want to play the first minute and a half or something like this to get his take on it. And, you know, just, is this a person that you think is there to, deserve to be shot in the face? I mean, again, let's just start at the bare fucking minimum. How about that?
Rummler.
Okay, spell that, please.
Rummler.
Okay, you are 21.
Yes, I'm 21.
Okay. Tell us about just what hit you. Do you know what hit you, and what are you going through?
They called it a PSL bullet. We tried to contact them to know what kind of metal it is and what it is, and they kind of not let us know.
So he even says right there, like, he's even tried to contact this agency, whatever agency shot him in the fucking face, and be like, okay, can you tell me what the projectile was? Can you tell me what the material was so that I could better, maybe give some information to my doctor, and he could better know how to, I don't know, fix my eye, save my eye, whatever it may do. And they won't even give him that information. He says that they're throwing up roadblocks and stonewalling at that one little fucking minute piece that possibly could at least give the doctor some kind of, inkling on the damage. You know what I mean? Like, just some insight. What did you get hit with is probably the bare minimum that the guy wants to know, as far as, the eye doctor, whatever it may be, right? Optometrist, whatever. I don't fucking know. But I'm sure that little piece of information is something that they'd like to know. Was it a pepper ball? Was it a rubber bullet? Did it have a metal tip on it? Like, give me something. And they couldn't even do that for this poor kid.
The doctor tried to contact DHS, and they gave her a phone number and then that person gave her a phone number, and that person gave her a phone number, and then that phone number went to nothing. And my dad went to the office and tried to ask them about it, and they kind of just told him, wouldn't tell him anything. So
okay. Basically, I think they call this a less than lethal round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did it feel?
I remember when hit me, I kind of didn't
And
realize
if I'm not
what
mistaken,
happened,
we
or, like,
actually showed this footage, right? I believe it was kind of amongst a different story, but this was like kind of in the background of it. Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but I do believe this was part of some of the footage that we actually did show. And you could see this kid went down, and then I believe he was the one that they like dragged on his back through the doors and like into the building. I do believe that was this kid. I could be mistaken. If I am, I apologize. But that was another instance that looked very similar to what happened to him.
I remember falling to my knees, and I remember covering my head, and it was just like this pressure. And
is that him, Vinny? That was him, right? Because I do remember seeing that, like in the background of one of the videos that we watched. I thought so. Cheetah says yeah as well. Yeah, all right. I thought so. I'm trying to put 2 and 2 together here. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
And this ringing in my ear, and like everything just started muffling, and like I don't know, it felt kind of surreal in the sense. I felt like I think. I had so much adrenaline from the impact that I wasn't really fully feeling it yet, I don't think.
And again, this is just, I don't want to gross people out for too long, or, put people through too much trauma if you don't, like to watch or look at anybody of these types of injuries or anything like that. But I mean, to show, and we showed on yesterday's show, a woman that had a giant welt on her leg from one of the flashbangs. We showed a couple interviews with a couple, a woman that was a veteran, a Navy vet for 25 years, and how distraught she was at being flashbanged and pepper sprayed and gassed for literally just peacefully protesting. There was another woman, not sure if she was a vet or not, but she was out there handing out flags, and she's out there peacefully protesting and being shot at, and she had marks, and her daughter was shot at. I mean, again, if now we're talking about Marines and Special Forces and Delta, whatever the fuck, regular Army, I mean, just think of how much this is going to escalate, and who knows, what if they're even going to come with non-lethal rounds. I wouldn't even trust Donald Trump to say, yes, please go in there with non-lethal rounds anymore at this point. But again, speaking of Donald Trump, and at this point, let's dive on to our next story, because this is a good little indication of how far apart our systems are right now, how far apart the people of the country, the working. Oh, mouse down. We got a mouse down. One sec. Mouse down. Sorry. How far apart the 1% and the working class people are, the people that actually make this country run, the fucking blue collar, the immigrants that actually make the fucking country run, those people, the middle and lower class Americans, and what they're struggling with right now in housing and food costs and gas and electricity and energy and flights and hotels and fucking you name it, and everything's more expensive right now. But what's going on? What's taking place at Mar-a-Lago? The Let 'em Eat Cake party, because this is posted by Patriot Takes. Entertainers wearing dog masks at a Rococo-era 18th century European aristocratic court. Costumes danced for a Mar-a-Lago guest at a party this weekend. I mean, I don't, again, let's just, let's see. What's a good, Hitler's, give me a second here. To give you a 1-to-1. Hitler, let's see if this kind of gives me, it's not like the easiest thing to start search for right out of the way, but yeah, I'll just put this on the screen. It's not a picture or anything, but this. So Hitler's chalet parties held at his mountain retreat, the Berghof, near the Berchtesgaden, was propaganda spectacles featuring Nazi elites, Goebbels, Goering, Speer, as I said before, socializing with Eva Braun, enjoying coffee, cake, music, Bavarian traditions, portraying Hitler as a hospitable, folksy leader. Through the infamous Eagle's Nest at the Kleisenhaus was more VIPs and less used by Hitler himself, with a surviving film showing the curated yet historical significant social scene. But what was taking place at this exact moment that these like grand parties were being fucking thrown at Hitler's chalet, at Berchtesgaden, and places all over fucking Germany, was the death and destruction and fucking, again, the utter atrocities being committed on the Eastern Front. At the same exact time, what the people of Germany were suffering through in the bombings, right? The air raids from the Allies, just any Cologne, any one of them that you could talk about that killed, 50, 100,000 German citizens, the destruction of Berlin in and of itself. Meanwhile, all these people still having these fucking retreats and parties, dancing it up, living it up, drinking it up like nothing was ever going on. And that's exactly what you're seeing taking place right here. And again, not to mention that the hypocrisy of, calling out furries and fuzzies or whatever the fuck they're called and trying to say like this is taking place in schools all around here. Meanwhile, they got quite literally themselves dressed up as the same fucking things at Mar-a-Lago. So again, just to show you the kind of disconnect and how they don't give a flying fuck about your struggles, about how much it's costing you for healthcare or childcare or fucking housing or whatever the fuck. This is what they're doing at Mar-a-Lago. Just check this out.
And the way you look tonight.
I mean, again, does this not show like the disconnect between the billionaire class and again, the working class people of this fucking country? Does this not show you that they don't have their best interest at heart? They don't even know what the fuck your struggles are. Never mind try to, be working on fixing those struggles or trying to alleviate those problems that you have. Dressed in fucking garb, whatever it is. I don't even know what you call this. I have no idea what you call this. What are we doing? What's going on? We got quite literally American citizens dying on the streets at the hands of federal agents. We have people being fucking arrested for absolutely nothing. People's First Amendment rights being fucking squashed and quelled all over the country. We got fucking active wars that this guy's leading us into. And what's happening at Mar-a-Lago at the same exact time? Acid. I don't know. Acid is about the only thing that I could come up with. Lots and lots of acid, ecstasy, and Viagra, I'm assuming. I don't even know what you call that. But again, just to kind of show you the disconnect of what's been taking place there, what they care about, how they feel about like the existential threat that they're putting us under right now. This is a clear representation. Clear fucking representation, and look at it no differently than you would look at it like, again, the fucking higher ups, in the Nazi fucking regime, in the Nazi fucking hierarchy, as all the German citizens are fucking cutting up dead horses and fucking drinking contaminated water and looking at their fucking neighbors hang from light posts because the SS thought that they were capitulating, because they thought that they were collaborating. Meanwhile, everybody's drinking up champagne in the bunker. Everybody's drunk as fuck in the bunker, right? That's what's going on right now. That's what this is. These are people just absolutely detached from reality because they've been robbing the Americans blind. They've made billions, if not fucking trillions at this point combined, off the backs of Americans, through the taxpayer dollars of Americans, through these fucking, illegal endeavors throughout the world at the cost of Americans, putting, a target squarely on the backs of the United States fucking military soldiers that we have right now. But again, I could go on forever on that. Don't get me fucking started. But all right, just a couple of minutes of this, if I might, because this is Tim Walz has just come out. I think this is, again, a couple days ago. We haven't had a chance to cover it yet. But I do want to play just a few minutes of this message that he has here. I think it's like a 6-minute video. Again, we'll dive through a couple instances, maybe the beginning, a little bit of the middle and the end. And then I want to show you kind of like how several months ago that you were hearing the same thing on Blunt Politics as you're now hearing from really prominent politicians in areas in which that are directly affected by these things. So again, you're getting your money's worth here, at least in my opinion. So let's dive into a little bit of this again. Let's start at the beginning and then I'll go to a little bit of the middle. We don't have to do the whole thing, but this is Governor Tim Walz delivering a message on the continued ICE presence in Minnesota. Jordan says Walz's speech was awful. Again, I'm not fucking here to critique or criticize him. I know he's been through a lot. He's kind of had a rough patch. I know I brought this up on a couple shows ago where, even his comments on his press conference were it was the right rhetoric, but you could tell his demeanor, you could tell he was like kind of defeated, run down and stuff. And the point that I'm making in this is basically where he tells people to film and follow ICE. Like that is hugely critical, hugely important right now. And again, for the sake of you guys and not going through the whole thing, because then we can kind of dive in here where he just tells people to film and follow ICE. That's the point of it. That's the gist of why I'm kind of bringing this up right now. I don't think we need anybody to tell us what's been going on with ICE and what's taking place. But to this aspect, listen to what he says.
Quality is coming at the voting booth and in court. We will reclaim our communities from Donald Trump. We will reestablish a sense of safety for our neighbors, and we will bring an end to this moment of chaos, confusion, and trauma. We will find a way to move forward, and we'll do it together. And we'll not be alone. Every day, we are working with business leaders, faith leaders, legal experts, and elected officials from across this country. They've all seen what Donald Trump is trying to do to our state, and they know their states could be next. And that brings me to the fourth thing I want to say tonight, Minnesota.
Listen.
How incredibly proud I am of the way that you've risen to meet this unbearable moment. But I'm not at all surprised, because this is who we are. Minnesotans believe in the rule of law, and Minnesotans believe in the dignity of all people. We're a place where there's room for everybody, no matter who you are or who you love or where you came from. A place where we feed our kids, we take care of our neighbors, and we look out for those in the shadows of life. We're an island of decency in a country being driven towards cruelty. We will remain an island of decency, of justice.
I got to say, I mean, you know, for what we were talking about, he looks much better in this. And again, everybody can have their own opinions, and it's a free country. And I'm not going to fucking tear you down for having your opinions on what the speech consisted of and if you liked it or not. But I'm glad to see he does look seemingly better at this point than he did just a few days ago at that press conference. Again, directly after the death of Renee Nicole Good. So it's good to see him at least looking a little better in this. And it looks like he does have a little bit more vigor in him than he just did before. That's good.
Community of peace. And tonight I come before you simply to ask, don't let anyone take that away from us. Thank you, protect each other, and may God bless the people of Minnesota.
Right, and I just want to go back. I think it's at this part right here.
Upon thousands of our fellow Minnesotans are going to be relying on mutual aid in the days and weeks to come, and they need our support. Tonight I want to share another way you can help. Witness.
This right here.
Help us establish a record of exactly what's happening in our communities. You have an absolute right to peacefully film ICE agents as they conduct these activities. So carry your phone with you at all times. And if you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans, not just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution. The third thing I want to say
All right, so that's basically the main gist. That's what I wanted to dive into there. So it's basically what he's saying is what? Film and follow. Pull out your cell phones. Fucking record everything. That's the only reason that we see these fucking the things that we've been able to see. You know, all the way back to the, you know, the guy that was getting punched in the middle of the intersection. That was the father of 3 Marines. To the pregnant woman that was arrested. You know, all of these things are only because people have been out there with their cell phones, willing to get in the way, willing to put themselves out there to record again for posterity, for history's sake, right? For criminal cases. All of this footage is fucking, you know, poignant and should be out there. But this is what I wanted to show you because, again, a little fucking toot of my own horn, if I may, a little pat on my own back. This is a video that we put out from a live over 3 months ago. It says 3 months ago now, but it's over 3 months ago at this point. And again, just a quick second, a minute, if I can, of this. And I want you to listen to how what I say lines up to what Tim Walsh just said and how long ago this was and how long I've been telling you guys to do this and begging you guys to do this and fucking advocating for people to do this. And again, we'll pat on the back. That's all I want. That's all I'm asking for. Here we go. Shit. And good on the, you know, good on the fucking, the vet here filming this shit.
They can't even identify themselves. Pieces of fucking shit. Racist little bastards. You fucking piece of, you fucking, don't you touch me, I'll knock you the fuck out. I'm a combat vet. Afghanistan combat vet. Hey, what a fucking, we're following you, you fucking pieces of shit. Fucking pieces of shit. Look at these motherfuckers, racist little pieces of shit. Call the.
And like I say, film and follow ICE wherever you can. Good on that vet. Good on that guy for not only filming this entire interaction, but giving him the fucking piece of the mind too. Because that's just as important every single time. And then you got this, a highly trained ICE agent pointing his gun at people while his clip is laying on the fucking ground. You know, talk about who trained this asshole? Dean Cain? Was this a fucking Dean Cain trainee? And again, chances are you're not film and follow. This was almost 3-4 months ago at this point that we were getting these clips already, getting these fucking pictures already. You know, I was commending these people for fucking, again, filming this, giving them the piece of their mind, letting them know how you feel. Again, 4 fucking months ago, I've been begging people, film and follow. Hashtag film and follow. Get it out there. And again, it's good to see now that these prominent politicians are actively getting to see how important that is now, not just for right now, but again, posterity's sake, for fucking history, to keep this as a database, as records for, again, criminal cases that are undoubtedly to come after this. So again, a little tutelage of my own hornage on that one. But again, it's a little frustrating to a certain extent to hear like this come out now as if like it's just like a new revelation that people are having. That's what we should be doing. And again, on a fucking channel of less than 20,000 subscribers, you could have been hearing that for the last fucking 4 months, right? For free. For paying for absolutely no content, having to come out of pocket, not a single fucking dollar. If you don't have it, if you don't want to, you could have been still hearing that on Blunt Politics. So I appreciate you guys for joining me. All right, let's dive on to our next segment here, which is going to be this Mediaite article diving into this, like, kind of the MAGA civil war that's been taking place. This is just another big piece of it. And again, what does it come back to? This one comes back to the Epstein files. Sean Ryan also has it come back a little bit to Israel as well. So again, 2 of the 3 kind of talking points that we again have been bringing up and talking about as like the main instigators, the main reasons as for the MAGA split, the MAGA civil war that's been taking place. So again, if you're not familiar with Sean Ryan, he's got a very, very, very popular podcast. He is an ex-Navy SEAL. He's a Donald Trump acolyte, I would say. He's a Donald Trump voter. He's not so much a MAGA person per se, but he's definitely the military-esque, gun-loving, freedom-loving type of guy. Is what he considers himself as. Again, obviously not that apt politically considering who he's voting for, but again, just to kind of set the stage. And he was on, he had on Ro Khanna on his show. And again, I'm not sure about the copyright issues, so I'm just going to play like the intro. I think he gives like a 30-second intro, but he says that he voted for this shit and he's pissed off and he's speaking out about it, about the Epstein files. So again, this is just another prominent podcaster. We've heard Theo Vaughn speak up against DHS when they used his likeness. They used him in a video. We've seen other people that were clearly a big help in getting Donald Trump elected, now kind of reversing course, doing a 180. And again, this is not to give anybody flowers or praise or anything like that. He absolutely is responsible for getting us in this position. But this is just to highlight the split and how willing people are right now to call out this administration above and beyond where they weren't not that long ago, right? Like, just remember that solid grip that Donald Trump and the GOP had on these podcasters where they just didn't dare speak out. They didn't dare call out anything. That we've seen that slip a lot lately. So again, this is a Mediaite article, I believe, from this morning. Came out January 15th, 2026, 9:21 a.m. by Zachary Lehman of Mediaite. It says, Trump-backing podcaster Sean Ryan rips into White House for, quote, protecting pedophiles. I fucking voted for this shit. Which is strange because that sounds like something that the Ford worker just yelled out at the Ford plant, but got suspended for and got a finger from the president for. Similar to those lines. So again, we'll read just a little bit of this and then we'll dive into like that 30-second clip. So it says, let me just make this a little bigger on your screen so you can clearly see it a little better. That's a little better. All right. So podcaster and former Navy SEAL Sean Ryan ripped into President Donald Trump's White House, accusing the administration of protecting pedophiles by not fully releasing the Epstein files. Ryan was joined on his podcast this week by Rep. Ro Khanna, who introduced discharge petition along with Rep. Thomas Massie to force the release of the government documents related to Jeffrey Epstein, the late child sex predator who had relationships at one point or another with everyone from Trump to former President Bill Clinton. While the files related to Epstein have been released by the Department of Justice, a December deadline to release additional files has not been met. Trump also faced backlash and just in addition onto that, a further deadline to reveal as to the reason why they redacted what they redacted was also not met. So just another bit of information. Trump also faced backlash among some of his own supporters like Rogan, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and others for his initial resistance. On Ryan's show, he played a clip of Trump at the White House lashing out at a reporter for asking about the Epstein files. I think that's the one where he calls it a Democrat hoax, where he calls the reporter stupid, maybe one of those ones, or where he says, why are you guys still talking about the Epstein files? Ryan previously interviewed both Trump and VP J.D. Vance on his podcast. I fucking voted for this shit, end quote, Ryan said. I voted to get these damn files released, and it's like a total 180 just happened. Epstein died of an apparent suicide, yada, yada, 19, we know that. So again, let's go into this. Let's see here. It says, quote, just use your common sense. There are 1,200 plus survivors. You think one guy raped all of them? You think one guy abused all of them? Of course not. This was a system of powerful rich men who either trafficked in these girls or abused them or showed up to Epstein's rape island, the congressman said. So that's Ro Khanna. So again, let's dive into this. I think, again, it's just about a 30-second clip, a minute, just to like the introduction, because again, I'm not really sure about copyright in issues with his show, with his podcast. So I'm just going to dive into, like I said, 30 seconds to a minute just to be safe. But this is the first clip that you see when you tune into the Sean Ryan podcast where Ro Khanna is on. Check this out.
I voted to get these damn files released, and it's like a total 180.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
He campaigned, he said, look, we're going to release the files. And what has been disappointing is we've, for the last 5-6 months, have had to fight the administration at every step of the way, which gets me to believe, like, who is protecting these people?
So I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. I've been covering this topic for a long time.
Yeah.
I started this with Ryan Montgomery about 2 years ago.
I know you did.
Then I brought on Tim Tebow. We're bringing on your buddy Schlepp, who's going after Roblox. Yeah. I know you're the first and only congressman to actually speak out against Roblox, at least according to Schlepp's attorney.
Yeah.
And
I mean, not to get off topic, but apparently that's another huge issue too. So Sean Ryan, in case you're not familiar, is talking about Roblox, a child's game in which, they can communicate with other people. And there's been like a large string of nefarious actions, let's just say, through that. So that he's kind of referencing basically his work on like child protection. So he's referencing like different guests that he's had on that, are speaking up about protecting children or, different actions that have been, again, that are threatening to children. So he's just kind of setting the stage here to be like, I voted to have these Epstein files released, but again, not thinking that, hey, I voted for Jeffrey Epstein's best friend thinking that I was going to get these Epstein files released. Like, he's basically just showing how duped he was. Right. He's basically just showing how well the propaganda worked, how well his friends that like Donald Trump were able to convince him. Right. Because think how stupid and deluded and fucking ignorant and selfish you need to be in order to believe, OK, I'm voting for the right thing here. I'm voting for this guy that was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend that hung out with him for 25 years, that was at the fucking parties, that was on the plane, that fucking literally had the girls working at the spa at Mar-a-Lago that Jeffrey Epstein was poaching from to fucking recruit these girls. But yeah, let me vote for him and actually think that I'm going to get the actual Epstein files released. Like, again, how do you put that? And again, just to show you, a Navy SEAL here, somebody obviously incredibly intelligent, bright, fucking knows how to look at circumstances and situations and pick the best route and avenue that is, the least resistance, right? I mean, that's what these people are trained to do. They're trained to use their mind, their skills, their bodies, and to put that to the best use. And even they are susceptible, right? And even to some extent, probably more susceptible, considering the atmosphere in the military, the prevalence of Fox News on the bases of the military, that sort of thing. So almost add more of a risk to a certain extent. But you would think that even they would have like the critical thinking skills, right? To be like, hold on, does it make sense that I want to vote to release the Epstein files? That's the end goal that I want, right? But the guy that I'm voting for is the guy clearly most affiliated with the guy that is named that those files are named after, right? You know what I mean? Like, you see how it doesn't even make sense to say. So again, just to show you how susceptible people are to propaganda, to, again, the billionaire funding. And if it's drilled into their head, doesn't matter what your IQ is, how fucking capable you are, both physically or mentally, doesn't matter. You're still susceptible.
I just interviewed Elizabeth Phillips. Are you familiar with this Camp Kanakuk?
I'm not.
And I think this is where it kind of gets into a little bit of discussion. I don't want to get into like copyright issues. We're less than a minute in, but I think that beginning part was pretty much, the main part that you wanted to hear. We could probably go in and see the actual, but this right here, this part.
I voted to get these damn files released, and it's like a total 180.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
He campaigned, he said, look, we're going to release the files. And what has been disappointing is we've, for the last 5-6 months, have had to fight the administration at every step of the way, which gets me to believe, like, who is protecting these people?
So I'm sorry, I'm going to cut.
Right. So again, that's the gist of it, where Sean Ryan clearly pissed off here, clearly gotten to a certain point, but it's like, who does he really have to be pissed off? Like, again, all he has to do is look in the mirror and be like, why is this happening right now? Who's responsible for it? I'm sure there's got to be a mirror somewhere in there. It's a very nice looking studio. And again, for a podcast that has, I don't know, you must have maybe 3-4 million, I don't know, somewhere around there. I know it's a very large and popular podcast. So, just wanted to bring that up again, more insight into the MAGA Civil War and how like these prominent people, the prominent podcasters that were directly responsible for getting Donald Trump elected the second time, are now turning on him, right? They're now starting to be like, this is bullshit. This is ridiculous. And again, as crazy it is to be like, well, like as crazy it is for us to think of them being mad that they haven't gotten the unredacted Epstein files after voting for Donald Trump again, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, and how ridiculous that sounds to us. Like that's what they're going through right now. That's the political and propaganda fucking pretzel that they've put themselves in, and how they have to justify now being angry at this administration for not getting what they want. It's crazy. It's crazy. Don't make sense to me now. Nope, don't make sense to me. I know that. But all right, let's dive into the next one here. I think we're going well. We're flying through these at a good pace. We might even have an opportunity to dive back into a couple of them if we have some more time. But all right, let's throw this on the screen. This is this morning's top headline, and let me just see here. This is a little bit about Greenland. Yeah, is this about Greenland? Yeah. All right, let's dive into this. Because, the threats of Donald Trump's military activity in Greenland is now being met with serious fucking action by the Europeans. Again, as I said, this will be the next thing that we dive into, this BBC article depicting European military personnel arriving in Greenland as Trump says that the U.S. needs the island. So again, just before we get into this, just to set the stage, here is a... what's this channel? This morning's top headlines, January 15th, going over a little bit of the dangerous nature of what Donald Trump's been talking about. Let's dive into it.
Morning. Good to have you with us. I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. Thank you very much for being with us this Thursday. We are going to begin this morning with the Trump administration's latest moves in the Middle East. So the Pentagon has begun evacuating hundreds of U.S. troops from its largest airbase in the Middle East. That is,
and again, you'll recall very similar actions. Very similar things were undertaken just before the strike on Iran's nuclear programs, nuclear facilities as well, right? So, you add this up with the threats of going into Iran, the threats of, even though Donald Trump just the other day mentioned that Iran said that there were no more fucking people being killed, they weren't going to do any more executions or anything like that. This is Donald Trump's own words, basically stating that there was no more reason for them to intercede, for the U.S. to interject themselves, basically. But this action isn't quite coalescing, isn't quite lining up with Donald Trump's rhetoric, because, again, the evacuation of these troops from bases in Qatar directly line up with how they were, brought back on and how they were fucking moved just before the Iran strikes on the nuclear facility. So definitely something to pay attention to.
In Qatar, this is according to a U.S. official and a person familiar with the matter who said the troops are being moved to hotels and other facilities in the region in case any U.S. action against Iran triggers retaliation.
President Trump continues to weigh his options.
Along those lines, it's already been said by the Iranian regime that they will, in fact, strike U.S. bases in the area if, in fact, the U.S. does try to interject in any way. It's already been said. Again, that target that has been painted on the backs of the U.S. troops all over the world by Donald Trump is growing by the day, whether justifiably or unjustifiably, whatever fucking side that you fall on in this case, right? It's no denying that the targets have been painted quite clearly on the backs of our military at this point because of Donald Trump's actions all over the world in different fucking countries. And again, this is just the latest action where, again, Iran has said and told and fucking reported to their surrounding nations, their fucking, their neighbors, that guess what? If you have a U.S. base, we're going to fucking hit it if they fucking do anything to our country. Period, point blank. And again, whatever side you fall on that, justified or unjustified, it's again putting the targets squarely on the backs of people that have nothing to do with the actions of Donald Trump.
For potential military action in Iran as a response to the regime's deadly crackdown on protesters. Earlier this week, President Trump warned of, quote,
Jordan says, hi, I cannot send a super chat. I have recently subscribed to the channel. Thoughts? Is it not letting you, bud, for some reason? Because sometimes it will not let me send a super chat. Like, is the option popping up for you? I apologize if it's not. It's nothing on our end. I could tell you that much. Sometimes there is like some glitchiness on YouTube where it's sometimes not possible to send one. I apologize about that. But, keep trying. If it keeps persisting about that, just keep letting the mods know and we'll see if we can rectify that for you, brother. All right. Sorry about that, Jordan. Appreciate you trying, though.
very strong action if the regime continues its killing of protesters. But speaking to reporters yesterday, he claimed he was told the situation has changed.
Again, this was his rhetoric, but again, not really lining up with the actions that we're seeing in the area. And I think they play his little clip here.
We were told that the killing in Iran is stopping, and it's stopped, and it's stopping. And there's no plan for executions or executions. So
Again, just say all the words. Again, just that's Donald Trump's plan here. He's so fucking demented in the head. He just has to say all the words. Because stopped and stopping, two totally different things. Oh my God, Michael. Jesus, Crow. For crying out loud. Don't break the bank on my account. Jesus Christ. You've been absolutely amazing today. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I will absolutely make sure to pass that along. I will make sure to pass that along. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Incredibly nice of you. Incredibly nice of you. But yeah, just to go back to what he's saying, stopping and stopped, different definitions, right? So stopped means it's stopped. It's already stopped. Stopping means it's still in progress, but it's maybe stopping. You know what I mean? Do you see how that works? That's different. And then execution means singular. Executions means multiple executions, which could be anywhere from 2 to fucking 2 trillion. You know what I mean? And beyond. So just say all the words just in case, the first 7 ain't right. And one of them will be right.
All that a good authority.
NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sirkin joins us now with more on this.
And again, so that's the Iran, and that was just to set the stage, again, with the ridiculous military action that we're seeing, and then that's to set the stage for this that we'll be talking about undoubtedly more and more as it becomes like a fucking, reality in this case, which is just mind-blowing to think that this is where we're at, where Europe, above and beyond having to deal with Russia and its acolytes and people trying to fucking, ruin Europe and trying to ruin the European Union and NATO and trying to destroy Ukraine as a country. Above and beyond all that, now we have to add something else onto the plate of NATO. We have to add something else onto the plate of Denmark and Greenland and everybody that, again, were solid allies in fucking lockstep with NATO. Now that's going to be another fucking problem that they have to contend with. Above and beyond Donald Trump and the United States not cooperating to begin with with the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. I mean, but this is, again, BBC, and this is just a really quick, less than 3 minutes. European military personnel arrive in Greenland as Trump says U.S. needs island. And again, this is just to combat Donald Trump's bullshit about, the Greenland's defenses being 2 fucking sled dogs in a fucking frozen steak or something. You know what I mean? I don't know, whatever stupidness he said. But check this out. Here we go. Here we go.
Welcome back. Soldiers from NATO countries have begun arriving in Greenland, and more military flights and ships are expected in the coming days. This all comes after Denmark says soldiers from several countries will take it in turns to have a military presence in Greenland. High-level talks at the White House failed to reach an agreement about the future of the island, which President Trump says the U.S. needs for national security reasons. Our Europe editor, Katya Adler, reports.
With the fate of their island hanging in the balance, Greenlanders, wherever they were on their icy island, were glued to the headlines. In the capital Nuuk, when we asked, people had a defiant message for President Trump.
We are the owners of this land, and we should run it ourselves.
We don't want to be a part of US, and they should leave us alone.
Meanwhile, 2,000 miles away in Washington, their foreign minister and her Danish counterpart prepared for a closed-door meeting in the White House with the US Vice President and Secretary of State. The first substantial talks between the 3 parties since President Trump began insisting.
And again, that goes along the lines of, and I'm trying to search here in the background, there was this one guy on Instagram. What the hell is his name? Am I going to remember the name? Does anybody know how to look up like your history on Instagram, like what you've, let me see here, like what you've liked, like your liked post or anything like that? Because I'm pretty sure I liked it. I just don't know how to get back to, I don't know how to get back to what I've liked. Let me see if I can do this. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it really quick, but he's basically, he's either from Greenland or he's from Denmark, and he gives a great fucking accounting, a great, like, hey, fuck off United States if you think you're going to come in here and just take it over type of shit. But I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. I'll see if I can pull it up for next show and have that pulled up. because I'm not sure. Can you go through your likes? Yeah, no, that's all right. I won't waste your time. But yes, just to kind of set the stage on what's been taking place, I want you to know that this is happening.
Greenland had to be his during his first term in office, an intention he doubled down on again before and after talks.
Well, we're going to see what happens with Greenland. We need Greenland for national security, so we're going to see what happens. And we need it for national security, and that includes for Europe.
85% of Greenland.
Again, a bunch of absolute fucking nonsense and horseshit. If he thinks this isn't making things like ultimately more complicated, again, to not only to try to deal with this, but also try to deal with Vladimir Putin, Russia helping Ukraine, and the rest of the fucking the European Union at the same time. It's just exponentially more fucking difficult. And I'm dying to get this fucking kid's name. I don't know what the hell it is. Notifications. That wouldn't be it, right? Is anybody talking to me in the chat? Brian, top 3 lines in the... Hold on. Dockley, yours. Brian, top 3 lines in the right corner. Select your activity, likes. You'll see a list of all posts you've liked sorted by most recent default. Dockley, yours. You're a saint. Let me see. Where are those 3 lines, though? I see 3 lines. Okay, your activity. Oh, you're the best. You're the best. I got it. All right, let me see if I can find it now. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that. Yes, here he is. Yes, you're the best. Let me put this on. Let me throw this on the screen. Appreciate you, Doc. Yours. I owe you big time. Let's see. I'll start it from the beginning here. And his name is, just to get his name right, it is Storm Balderson. Storm Balderson _official, just to let you know. So this is just one of the videos that he put out. Let's see if I can get at the beginning. So it'll be this one. Here we go. How do you get the sound? Oh, here we go. Sound. Let's go.
Yeah, see, this is kind of the thing. If United States decide to attack Denmark, more specifically Greenland, that will mean in a split second, United States will be in war with Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. Why so? Because we have the Nordic Security Declaration. That means,
again, above and beyond the NATO pact, right? So this is what I was trying to explain to you guys yesterday. Like, even beyond the NATO pact, Donald Trump doesn't seem to recognize that just involving Greenland is involving other countries as well, because of other Nordic pacts they have as for security guarantees. Something that either they know and they're ignorant to, they know and they don't care, or they're just completely ignorant to, right?
if United States attack one of these 3 countries, they will automatically be in war with all 3. So even without NATO allies, we now have a very, very small circle of Scandinavian and Viking countries who will come, and we will have some.
And guess what, guys? I don't know how many people have ever seen the show Viking. You ever seen that show Vikings? Have you ever heard any of the history about Vikings? Have you ever heard any of the history about the resistance movements in these countries, in the Nordic countries, in World War II, and some of the shit that they were fucking responsible for, and some of the actions and ridiculous fucking, like accomplishments that they were responsible for? Do you really think that these are the people you want to be testing? I'm just going to say I have no doubts of the accomplishments and the capabilities of the United States military whatsoever. But if you think, once again, that this is going to be the Caracas cakewalk that it was in Venezuela, and you're going to fucking just stumble in there on low, slow-flying Chinooks with, again, some of our most valuable troops that we have as assets in our fucking military arsenal, you got another thing coming. You got another fucking thing coming, and I'm just giving you the fair warning. Again, that's nothing to take away about the, again, accomplishments or capabilities of what they're doing. But again, just saying, I've seen Vikings. I've seen it.
Have some fun if this will happen, that's for sure. But anyway, I want to say thank you for Germany. Germany just sent...
And again, you can see, look at the comments. Here's the one comment. I'm an American and I stand with you. 5,800 likes. Scotland will join. We're used to the cold and love to fight. I'm an American and I stand with you. 2,600 likes. Europe stands united with Greenland. American veteran here and I stand with you. American here, I stand with Denmark. I'm an American. I stand with you. You know what I mean? I mean, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. And he's got another one on here. Let me see. Was it this one? I think it was this one, maybe. See if I can pull this up.
United States will attack Greenland with military force. And I just like to make some points here, because this is what you need to pay attention to. Russia will in the same time do a big move on Europe. And what will happen after? Only the gods will know. But I would like to say this. If I was from the United States, I would get out of there right now. And the reason for that is the United States will lose all its global power, and it will lose all its global trade deals. And the United States is going back to an area before World War II, when the Great Depression was there. So if I was from the United States and I cared about my family, my wife, my kids, and all this fucking shit, I would move right now. Because what Donald Trump is doing in making all his friends very rich by making the United States very poor. Maybe we can look at a scenario where there will be a negotiation about this. But in any case, we need to pay attention to what Russia will do next, because Russia is master in doing this, what they do right now. Prepare things, do shadow operations when the attention is someplace else. So we in Europe will right now, after this year, mark my words on this, after this year, this flag will mean a whole lot to every single one of us. United States.
I can't see a fault in anything that he's saying, right? I don't see it. He seems to be right. Here's just one more, last one.
If Denmark will be taken by occupied forces, it's absolutely legal to organize yourself into small groups and fight back on the occupied forces. This is in the Danish law. So if you have any thinking, then going to Denmark and fight occupied forces, I want you to study, and even my fellow Danish brothers and sisters, you need to go study this law, because it's very specific how it's legal. It's very specific what you can do and what you cannot do. But the main thing is you can legally fight back occupied forces as a civilian person in Denmark.
Right, so he's talking about that, and there was one more where he references, let me just see, how do I get to his channel here? There's one more where he references the resistance forces of World War II. And I thought that was a very apt comparison. Let me see, is it, he's got a bunch of them out, so give me a second here. Maybe this one?
Yeah, this is for sure very good news that Denmark is sending troops to Greenland to defend our territory of the Kingdom of Denmark. And from my understanding, it looks like Norway and several countries would do the same.
So I don't think it's that one. My apologies. Again, he's got a bunch of them here. World War III we saw. Freedom Fighter we saw. Must be back here somewhere. Maybe this one?
With all due respect to the United States and all the veterans who has been fighting the wars all over and all this shit.
Yeah,
I understand this is not everybody who is this stupid, okay? I just want to make a point here. So you guys think it was hard to fight the Taliban in Afghanistan. You fighted them with your allies for more than 10 years, okay?
So he's referencing how difficult we thought it was to fight the Taliban, right? Or how difficult we found it to fight the Taliban in Afghanistan, right? And he's referencing that. Rightfully so.
More than 10 years. You run out the country like small women, like Girl Scouts, okay? So let me...
You ran out of the country like Girl Scouts, and again, agree or disagree with this assessment, and agree or disagree with his use, or, the use of the word women in that category. But, I mean, you know what he's trying to get by on that? You know what he's trying to say?
Say it like this. You think the Taliban was hard to fight? Look at the Nordic countries, how the resistance fighters was on the World War II.
So he says, look at the Nordic countries and how the resistance fighters were during World War II. And he's a fucking 1,000% right. He's 1,000% right. And if you want to do any research after the show and go look back at what he's talking about and go look back at some of the heroism and some of the accomplishments and the feats and some of the absolute fucking brutality of these people, then it's all over the place for you to find.
How big trouble the normal civilian man and woman was fighting back the German Empire on the World War II. We will come to the battlefield with a snow shovel, with a spoon, if necessary. We are not uneducated people without any shoes in the mountains in Afghanistan, okay? We will fight hard. Go study how hard the Nordic countries fight back on the World War II.
And again, just a little bit of the assessment, the some of the emotion, some of the anger being seen right now by some of the people involved. And it doesn't look like it's going to be the Caracas cakewalk, like I said. You know what I mean? Definitely a different feel, a different scene, different laws, different fucking allied ships, different partnerships, different coalitions, different people all together. So again, more of a fair warning than anything to, again, anybody in the United States military that is currently maybe thinking about undertaking or enacting some of these illegal fucking just beyond all fucking sense of reality acts. But yeah, that was crazy. And I really like him. I think anybody should follow him if you're on Instagram or anything like that, because he gives good history insights. And not only that, but you get a good kind of aspect on what the people are feeling on the ground as well. All right, let's dive into our what might be the last video of the show here. And then I can get into some announcements for the show if I leave myself enough time. But let's dump this on the screen here. Again, this is a little report by Preston Stewart about how Russians are now being lost. They're being disappeared on the battlefield in Ukraine. And this is, I think, a little bit more of an update on what's been taking place, because I know we've been focusing on ICE and what's happening in our own country, rightfully so. But again, we don't want to make sure that we're keeping everybody up to speed on what's happening elsewhere with these important conflicts all over the world as well. So let's dive into it again. Slava Ukraine, fuck ICE, fuck Donald Trump, just in case you're wondering where we stand on blunt politics. Let's dive into this. Again, this is Preston Stewart talking about how Russian soldiers are disappearing in Ukraine. Heroyan Slava.
1,000 Russian soldiers are now missing in Ukraine. Their families haven't heard from them in months or years. Russia says they're not in formation, and Ukraine says they're not being held as POWs. To be blunt, that's 150,000 that are most likely dead. Now, casualty information in this war is classified on both sides, so we're likely to see wide-ranging estimates in all directions. Today, however, we're looking at some actual data points. Russians.
I mean, just to kind of, let's put that in perspective. They have 150,000 plus just missing. What did the U.S. lost? What, 400, little over 400,000 during World War II, right? As far as casualties, as far as dead, right? So to put that in perspective, right, during the entirety of World War II and the fighting for the United States, we lost roughly 400,000 plus, let's say, just to kind of put a rough estimate on it. In the time that Russia's been undertaking their full-scale invasion of Ukraine, they've somehow managed to lose, not even know if they're dead, alive, still fighting on the front lines, captured, POWs, whatever the fuck, just straight up lose over 150,000 of their own soldiers, just to kind of put it in perspective that.
Submitted applications to the Ukrainian I Want to Find project for help finding their missing family members. Now, the project noted that since their launch in January 2020,
look at this, 152,242 applications for searching for missing service members of the Russian armed forces. Total found only 3,377. Right, 1,900 of them being prisoners of war, 1,300 being already either captured or I'm sorry, that's too small to see what that says. And then 139 of them are dead. So I have 152,000 missing. That's all they've been managed to locate. Just this little small amount that you can see here on the screen on the bottom left as a representation of the 152,000 missing. That's fucking wild.
Through November 2025, the I Want to Find project has received 152,248 applications regarding missing military personnel of the Russian army. They say on average, they receive around 2,000 new inquiries every week, and statistics show that only 2% of cases of the missing person tends to be alive and in Ukrainian captivity. Now,
that's
as
crazy.
A bit of a comparison here, the United States at the end of World War II documented around 80,000 U.S. service members missing in action around the world, like North Africa, Italy, Germany, France.
Right, so that's missing. I was just talking about, the deaths, right? So if you look at the deaths in World War II, he's talking about just strictly missing figures around the entirety of all of the fucking theaters of war that the United States was involved in World War II was 80,000, around 80,000 missing, right? So we have basically double that from the Russians in this one theater, like in a very, confined specific theater compared to, the fighting of World War II. Just again, put that into like some perspective for you.
All across the Atlantic, all across the Pacific. How about all those islands in the Pacific where pilots went down and nobody had any idea where they were? 80,000 missing by the United States, all of World War II, essentially around the world.
And that's crazy. And he's even got this too that just came out, that he's reporting on the deployment of the European troops. So let's see if we can just dive real quick into that as well. I mean, now that we got the numbers there, I mean, just crazy numbers, ludicrous numbers that people in the United States couldn't even fathom, right? Just think of what would happen if the fucking president, any president, had to come in and make an announcement to the United States people that we have 150,000 plus troops missing. Just no idea where they are whatsoever. We don't know if they're lost. We don't know if they're dead. We don't know if they're alive, captured. We don't know what the fuck happened, right? We don't know if they deserted. Nothing. We have no fucking clue. Imagine the reaction from the American public if, during Afghanistan, George Bush or whoever came out and was like, yeah, just to let you know, we got 150,000 troops that we can't account for. Unbelievable shit. And again, here's just more information, more updates on the troop landing. So here's some more footage, I believe, that we didn't get in the last video. So let's see if we can take a look at this and see if there's any more footage compiled that we can take a look at of these European troops landing in Greenland.
Multiple European nations moved troops and military assets into Greenland, as President Trump stated that we're going to do something there whether they like it or not. Quote, if we don't do it the easy way, we'll do it the hard way. I mean, what are we doing here, guys? I mean, even if you say that this is just a negotiating tactic, that President Trump is bluffing about taking Greenland, we're talking about burning bridges left, right, and center over something that largely could have been resolved by just talking to our friends.
I still think to a large extent, people like, Preston does great reporting on this. What's that other kid's name? I don't really care for his, like, the other shit that he reports on, but as far as like, what's taking place in Ukraine, he is good. His name's like Keegan or something like that. Keegan or something, I forget the kid's name, but to a large extent, his fucking like view on politics elsewhere other than this is pretty horrendous as far as I've seen. Not talking about Preston, but I still think that these people are still far too willing to give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt and to report on this like it's some sort of fucking like normal circumstance that we're in. I mean, even here, Preston's like, fucking what are we doing? So he's calling it out to a certain extent. But what's that other kid's name? And I'm sure the chat knows. Keegan. He's big on Instagram. I'm sure somebody will know. If if Rachel's in here, she'll probably know. She knows everybody. But I'll think of it if I can. No, not the woke farmer, but that's a good one. I'm not sure if that's in response to me, but I think it's Kagan or something like that. I'll have to look. But he's just far too willing to appease and to acquiesce to it being almost even remotely related to it being normal, that type of thing. No, Dylan Burns is okay. At least on the, the aspect of the Ukraine, the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. I'll see if I can look him up while this is playing. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, you guys are sitting there looking at me. It's not even the right one.
So anyways, the Associated Press overnight said, quote, troops from several European countries, including France, Germany, the UK, Norway, and Sweden, are arriving in Greenland in a show of support for Denmark as talks between representatives of Denmark, Greenland, and the United States on Wednesday highlighted fundamental disagreement between the Trump administration and European allies on the future of the Arctic island. Denmark announced it would increase its military presence in Greenland on Wednesday, and several European partners started sending symbolic numbers of troops on that day, just as the Danish and Greenlandic foreign ministers were preparing to meet with White House representatives in Washington. The troop movements are intended to portray unity among Europeans and send a signal.
I don't know if you guys know who this is. Let me throw this on the screen there. Kagan Dunlap is the kid's name. Right. And he does, again, for what it's worth, does great reporting and keeping people up to speed on what's taking place, throughout these different conflicts throughout the world. But he just every now and again has just horrendous, like he put out the Nick Shirley bullshit, right? Just for an example, he put that out there like it was like, fucking peak reporting and like, unbelievable shit. Some of his takes on the Maduro capture were fucking questionable at best. You know what I mean? But just, some of the shit other than his coverage of Ukraine is questionable, and appeasing some of Donald Trump's actions again. He's got a couple posts of Marco Rubio up there with different hats that he's wearing and uniforms, clear cut, propagandistic type of bullshit. Right. So again, this kid here, again, does go to here. He is kind of, I don't know if he's praising Asmongold here, but clearly at some point has to be watching Asmongold even to get this clip, or watching people that watch Asmongold, which kind of should tell you a little bit about, his insights or his political leanings. But yeah, this kid, again, does great work, and I will flowers and credit where credit is due for his work and informing us and keeping us up to speed on what's happening, unlike these conflicts, and especially in Ukraine around the world. But to a large extent, questionable politics other than that, from what I've seen, at least in my opinion. Let's put it that way. But that's who I was talking about. But yeah, he did, I see somebody saying in the chat, the Nick Shirley thing, how long ago was that now? I'm sure you could find, shouldn't take too long here. That was before the Maduro thing, right? So yeah, you can see widespread protests take place in Iran. He's got that. Let's see here. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services freezes aid for child care payments to state of Minnesota. That's, based on the reporting of Nick Shirley. Let's see here. It's hard to know. How long ago was that? The Nick Shirley bullshit. But he did, I don't know, maybe he took him down, or I'm just not in the right place. But I know I've seen a bunch of his reporting on that. I might be back too far at this point, but if you go back in his reporting, you'll be able to see that he did amplify the Nick Shirley story to a large extent, and he's got a substantial following too. Which again gives you even more responsibility. So he's got 1.1 million followers here on Instagram. I'm sure he's probably got a similar amount or close to it on places like TikTok and others. So again, a substantial community, a substantial following that he's putting that information out to. You know what I mean? So again, let's dive back into the European deployment, if I may.
Signal to President Trump that an American takeover of Greenland is not necessary, as NATO together can safeguard the security of the Arctic region.
What does that mean? Somebody says, not going to lie, his haircut looks sus. Hold on, let me go back. Now I got to take another gander. Well, I think I'm not familiar with his background. I'm assuming he's maybe an ex-military type. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. But he does obviously a lot of military content, that type of stuff. So maybe that's just his kind of forte, so to speak. I'm not 100% sure. But, just on the overwhelming basis, I've been not very fond of some of the takes and some of the things that he's been amplifying above that. But I don't know. It definitely looks like a cop haircut to me, if that's what you're referencing. That's funny as hell, though.
Amid rising Russian and Chinese interest. That's an article I never thought I'd read, but here we are. A couple key takeaways there.
Hold on.
This is not.
We said he was a Marine. Gerald Riley III says he's a Marine, or was a Marine. Again, I kind of suspected some sort of military affiliation, military background on that aspect. And again, that probably fits right in line with some of the piss poor political leanings and beliefs and views that he has as well. So again, credit where credit is due on his military reporting. You can tell he definitely has knowledge and insight on that. But again, just as far as the stuff on the edges, on the periphery, it's kind of questionable in my view. That's all.
Europe preparing to defend Greenland from a U.S. military invasion. All right, it's not, squadrons of F-35s and destroyers and brigades and divisions worth of soldiers and equipment. That's not what's happening here, and that's not the intent of what's happening here. So they hit the nail on the head by saying these are symbolic numbers of troops, talking about dozens from each one of these countries. Now, it looks like those numbers are set to increase and continue for a while, but nonetheless, it is symbolism from these countries that they stand with
Denmark, show of force.
And that they stand with
Greenland.
Greenland.
It's a big fucking statement when that show of force is, again, not only your United States ally, but your NATO ally, the European Union that we work in close conjunction with. It's a big fucking statement when even you send just a few troops, right? When even just a military plane showing up in a place where the United States that they say they have fucking intentions to be at. That show right there is a huge fucking sign. That is a big fuck you, a big slap in the face, a big fucking show of force, regardless of, again, if it's military aircraft, if they're fucking flying in artillery, whatever it means. They're basically putting their troops in harm's way to say, okay, motherfucker, this just ups the fucking ante that much more. The same way, similar way that Like China going into Taiwan would raise the fucking ante because we have U.S. troops stationed in Taiwan. Any one of the U.S. bases in and around Iran and surrounding countries, right? Like those types of things. Those are similar aspects in which, okay, we're putting ourselves directly in harm's way. And if something happens to those, we're taking as a direct attack on the United States in a similar aspect the way France and Germany and other, nations are sending troops to Greenland saying, okay, we're going to put our troops there. And again, any attack on Greenland is going to be looked at as a direct attack on Germany, a direct attack on French troops, German troops, the Nordic fucking alliances that we have. So it's not just, okay, it's 12 troops, let's not worry about it. It's a huge fucking show of force and a huge, show of symbolism above and beyond that, especially with the fucking closeness that we're supposed to have with these countries that we're now talking about.
It's something we often see. I just hate that in this context, the standing with means that it's because of things the United States has said and done in recent days. The second part of this is a signal to President Trump from our European allies that they're interested and willing.
That's another great point that we were talking about. Ellen in the chat brought up. Ellen says no one wants to come to America. I mean, I don't know what the number is up to at this point, but I know we've heard of, I think the first number reported was like 25,000. Let's see. World Cup tickets canceled, and this is just one aspect. I mean, from tourism, people just coming here to visit family. Let's see here. Yeah, here's one of them. Said nearly 17,000 fans canceled 2026 World Cup tickets amid boycotts over U.S. political climate. So you hit the nail right on the head there, Ellen. And I'm sure that's only going to get worse as the violence, the rhetoric, as the World Cup gets closer in date, more and more people. Again, I thought I heard 25,000. This is the Sports Examiner saying 16,800. So again, I'm probably sure it's probably up in the air. But you can imagine, and we've heard people again not wanting to come visit family because they've said this, that, or the other thing online, and they don't want to have to erase their phone. They don't want to risk being detained at the airport by fucking immigration or DHS or Homeland Security or whatever the fuck because of again a tweet or a Truth Social post or a Blue Sky or whatever. You know what I mean? So again, tourism, Canadians that used to come down to places like New England to, spend the fucking couple days at the beach or, to come do some hiking or to come view the foliage or whatever the hell, skiing, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Those people aren't coming, which directly affects these mom and pop shops, the mom and pop businesses, which are again, the first ones typically to see the effect. And that's, spreading throughout hotels, motels, people that depend on travelers, people that depend on other people coming from outside of the United States to come visit this attraction or, this national park or whatever the fuck it is. And it's just not happening anymore, which is, again, an added aspect, an added fucking threat onto the economy, not to mention the tariffs, not to mention, again, the China deal that China isn't fulfilling, trying to buy soybeans again from the United States farmers because of the policies and tariffs that Donald Trump put in place, quite like he did in the first administration, and then had to come up with this deal with China that China didn't fulfill in the first administration. Same thing, no fucking different. It's, deja vu all over again. But let me see. We'll go dive back into this just to show you that, you're 100% right, Ellen.
And taking Arctic security even more seriously, especially around Greenland, more than just words, but actual actions. Now, one of the challenges in understanding exactly what's happening here is we don't know what Trump wants.
Isn't that similar to, and then Penguin says in the chat here, thank you to everybody on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of you guys for chiming in here. I do appreciate you guys interacting with the show. I wonder, Penguin says here, I wonder when they're going to, excuse me, I can read, I promise I can. I wonder when they're going to stop allowing Americans back into the country due to social media posts. Hasn't that already taken place? Like, I mean, again, whatever you think of him, one prominent example I can think of, and he wasn't necessarily denied entry back into the United States, but definitely was pulled aside and kind of, held for a long period of time beyond just being allowed back into the United States freely was Hassan, right? That was a prominent thing that we heard where because of his views and beliefs, he was kind of interrogated to a certain extent. I'm sure there's other, lower profile examples that we can look at where, Americans have been, made to give up a cell phone or made to show their social media. I know I've got friends in the UK online and on social media that say that they're very worried and have known people that have had their social medias checked upon arrival. So again, I'm sure that's something that's taken place already to a certain extent. So you're probably absolutely spot on there, and I appreciate you for chiming in. Thank you to everybody on Twitch. Appreciate that. Let's see if I don't know if it's bits or what you do over there, but do it, please. I don't know what it is.
Like, is he just trying to expand U.S. territorial control? I feel like we kind of heard that at times. Natural resources is another one that pops up.
Right.
From
And
time
again,
to
let's
time.
just kind of
the one that gets the most attention.
See if I can dive back into some of these live kind of coverages of the protest to see what's going on there, if you'll allow me. And then I want to remind you guys about our fundraiser that we still have ongoing, which has just been incredible, if I may. Right. So this fundraiser, we're already 13% of the way there. If you can imagine, I don't even think it's been a week yet, right, that we've had this up and running. I think it's been about 4 days, if I'm not mistaken. And to have almost 3,000 euros already donated because of you guys is incredible. It really, really is. Again, I didn't really have a specific timeline. I knew that's a lot of friggin' money to try to raise. And I was just happy to, at any point, to get anywhere near that fucking goal. But to be that fucking far along already with almost 30 different donations is a real, it goes to show how like involved you guys are, how like responsive you guys are to the needs of people all over the world, whether it's inside the United States or outside of the United States. So please, again, even if you're not in the financial position to throw anything in here, don't worry about it. Just sharing this website out, help99.co/patches/Boston Brian will take you straight to my campaign. Again, we're trying to raise money for a truck to go to the 72nd separate mechanized brigade over in Ukraine. And we're doing it through and with the help of the NAFO boys over at 69th Sniffing Brigade. So again, a real honor to be associated in any way, to be given the task of trying to raise funds for such a great cause. So again, I just wanted to say thank you and congratulations to everybody for doing such a good job already. 13% of the way there. We got a long way to go, but that's a very, very good start. So please, if you can, share it out to people. Again, if it's not you, please share it out to friends or family. If you know somebody that may have some deeper pockets and the financial ability to make a big difference here, send it out to them. Again, just the free stuff, sharing it out, liking it, making people aware is all I ask for, really. And again, if you're in the position to give, even better. And I very much appreciate you guys. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. And anybody getting like a patch, right? If anybody's going to patch or has received their patches or anything, I'm not sure quite how long you got to wait for those, but please make sure you take a picture. I'll be sure to post it on social media. I'll be sure to thank everybody if you post your donations. So we got Jeremy, Justin, Christina, I know Anonymous, Beatty, David, Wesley here, as you can see. So everybody gets listed. So I really do appreciate you guys. But let's dive back into some of the live coverage, if I may, to see what's going on the streets in Minnesota.
Clear the roadway.
I'm going to rewind. It looks like we just missed maybe a good little section there. I'm going to go back, and that looked like the same guy. This looks like the same veteran that we saw the other day, yesterday, I believe. So I'm going to go back just a little bit, see if we can hear what's being said. This was just a couple minutes ago. This is Mercado Media live in front of I believe it's the Henry Whipple building. You can see, I think I just saw Oja out there. Here's DeWoke Farmer. So everybody's there. Let's see what's going on, if I may. I'm going to go back, see if I can get to the beginning of this little section, and then we'll dive into a little bit of this. Yep, there he is right there in the background. Here's DeWoke Farmer walking by, and then this is the military vet that we heard from earlier in the show back out there. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, sounds like a Native American song or chant being sung here by what to me looks to be a representative of the Native American community with the megaphone. So again, that's just kind of setting the scene for everybody here.
Years of oppression. Is this what we're going to do again for another 100? Fuck no!
Is Jolly good Ginger right here. You can see with the press is Jolly out in force.
I don't know God! You're taking us back to Fort Snelling when you take us? That's a fucking disgrace! This is our land! It's our land! You're not years more! I'm not gonna stand for it, and these people aren't gonna stand for it! I'm done! I don't know about you, but I'm done! We're done! I'm done!
There's Oja right there, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He's been doing great work out there with the rest of these human beings too.
Who's got a bigger megaphone for him? Give him a louder megaphone.
This yours? Yeah, okay.
And again, this is about 15 minutes later. There's Jolly. Looks like he's interviewing him. Maybe we can catch a little bit of that.
35, 1806 highway. Standing up. These federal agents killed my husband 5 years ago. I'm back on the bridge above Cantina Creek. Now I'm at the 35, 1806 highway, Cannonball, North Dakota. At about 5 p.m., the incendiary went off and it shot me. Same agent.
So you're here from New York, you said?
I live in Brooklyn. I'm a jewelry designer in Brooklyn.
Got it. And so what was your main purpose of that? You said some of your family was in there.
Before Guala got detained. One got released. Why aren't the other 3? That's a political prisoner. They did the same thing to my friend. Standing off. I'm not going to say her name. But immigration enforcement officers. Immigration enforcement.
I need everybody to understand immigration enforcement arrested Native Americans.
Oglala, the same people that were at Wounded Knee got taken and they're being housed still.
And that is how you know this shit was never about illegal immigration. It was never about anything other than the advancement of the white supremacist fucking ideology that DHS is currently putting on their fucking social media. The white supremacist ideology that Christine Holmes was putting on the front of the podium when she gives a press briefing. The white supremacy ideology that told white people in this country were being replaced. When you're arresting indigenous and holding them hostage and keeping them hostage, you are there to clear the land of anybody who's not white.
See, like they even have an LRAD. That's an LRAD right on top of that. So if they really wanted to, they could turn that thing up and blast our ears.
Again, this is just in case you just joined, and this is a live look, a relatively live look. I think we're about 2 minutes behind here. This is live right here, live look at the Henry Whipple building. You're looking at Jolly Ginger giving an interview right there to what seems to be, for all intents and purposes, a Native American speaking up for his country, the way he should, the way, that he's been fucking probably holding in for quite a long time, as far as you could see from his emotions that he was pouring out there. But let's see if we can. Again, we've seen some of the main players. We saw that vet that was speaking yesterday. Let me see. We'll give him credit where credit is due if I can find him again. Let me see. So there's Jolly, as you can see. Here's this Nazi little fucking weasel that's been there for the last few days as well. Let's see if I can hear what goes on here.
You're not welcome. Shit, you little leprechaun cunt. No, you're not welcome. Shit, you little leprechaun cunt. No. Why am I not welcome? Because I want to fight.
You're not welcome because look at you, man. Because you're a fucking Nazi. You're asking for motherfuckers to sign, bro. Go over there with your people, bro.
Nazis. Yeah, they're Nazis and you are too.
White supremacy. How about that? White supremacy. Damn.
God, you got me too, man.
Motherfucker, man. Go with the people over there. True veteran like I am.
Again, these are the people being allowed to just roam in the streets. Again, if any one of the protesters went out and where they are right now, it would fucking indefinitely invoke a reaction from the officials. But not if these people do it. Not if these people do it. It's okay. And you got more people, more patriots out there. I'm trying to find that the vet. I know there's a ton of people here. It's probably not likely that I'm going to find them, but trying to give credit to everybody out there showing their support, speaking their minds. A lot of these people have been out there for days and days on end. Here he is right here. Here he is right here. This is the guy that we heard yesterday. He's talking about his, I believe it was yesterday. We played it this morning too, if I'm not mistaken. His daughter was sprayed, talking about how pissed off he was. So credit to him where credit is due. Obviously, Oja, Jolly, DeWoke Farmer, all of these people, every one of them, even if they don't have a social media presence, even if they're not known, doesn't matter. All of them, every single one of them deserves the credit, of the American people. Because that's exactly what everybody should be and what everybody should be doing. And they've been out there for, again, days on end doing the right thing. And they will continue to be out there, as will the rest of us Americans, as we kind of take shifts and turns. I'm sure when people go to work, others survive. Others show up. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it's going to work from here on out. So let's see here. What time we got? 12:50. All right. So I appreciate you guys. I really do. Another great show for today. I think we dove into everything that I wanted to dive into. Once again, don't forget about don't forget about our support and our assistance needed here. Don't forget about the support and the assistance needed on the streets as well. Very, very important. And I do thank you very much. Speaking about streets and the importance, I do want to, before we dive into saying thank you for the Venmos and saying thank you for the contributions to the show today, a little bit of a personal announcement. Unfortunately, we're going to be making the trek back to Boston relatively shortly. I don't know. We're going to have to kind of make a decision, and I'll be letting you guys know what's going on for shows coming up over the weekend. But basically, long story short, I failed in my mission out here. Fuck. You can tell why I didn't want to do this. All right. To keep a long story short, it is nobody's responsibility or my fault but my own. I did not fulfill the obligations and requirements that I thought I was going to be able to do. It is of nobody's fault but my own. And I'm sorry that I did fail in my mission. But I just want you to know it's my fault. Nobody else's. It was my responsibility, and I did not fulfill that responsibility. But that does not mean the show is going anywhere. I need you guys more than ever, unfortunately, now. At this point, God damn, I'm a mess. 1 second. Anyway, but yeah, you guys have been very supportive and you've been with me, all throughout this time and along the way. So you guys deserve to know what's going on. And again, if in case I miss any shows or anything like that, you'll know why now. I just didn't want to keep anything from you, but I'm sure there'll be more to dive into, more to get into as the, time passes and I kind of try to get set back up wherever that may be. But yeah, you guys will be, more informed and get to know what the hell is going on. And I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew. But yeah. Will you repeat why? Yeah, I wasn't able to fulfill my role, my mission in supporting Mel and Logan. I thought that, I kind of had more, I was over optimistic in my abilities to start an operation that would be as lucrative or lucrative enough to be able to fill my roles and what I came out here to do. Long story short. So it didn't happen in the time frame that I needed it to happen. And, and I take responsibility for it. I do. So that's a little bit of that. So it's just, it is what it is at this point. But yeah, unfortunately, I'll be making the trek back to Boston, I believe this weekend, if everything goes as planned. I'll be driving again, if everything goes as planned, back with my sister across the country. So there's going to be obviously several days in which I'm probably not going to be able to do lives and stuff. And maybe I'll check in with you from, the way back across the country. But yeah, I just, you guys have been like family to me and been very supportive. So I just want to make sure that you guys are as informed and up to date. So it is what it is. But, you can see why I've been pushing off this. So sorry to look like a little bitch in front of everybody, but 'tis what it is. No, Michael, come on, please stop that, brother. Please, you've been over and above and incredibly supportive already, and that's not why I'm making the announcement. I just feel like you guys deserve to know in case I'm not here for a day or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever it is. Just know that I am sticking with it. And again, this show will become even more important to me now than it has been. So just please stick with me, stay with me. Don't leave anywhere. Even if I'm not here for a show or 2, please stick around. But Michael, you've been amazing to say the least during this show. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your understanding. Sorry again for the emotions, but I think you guys can understand that. I kind of wear it all in the sleeve. As you guys know, I don't really hide much from you guys. I'm probably over truthful to a certain extent, and over revealing. But so 'tis is me. You whatever you see is what you get. So I'm not going to hide it. But Michael, thank you so much, brother. I really do appreciate you. Before I make more of a fool out of myself on the internet today, let's get into thanking some people on the old Venmos, and then obviously the fantastic people here on YouTube as well. I knew that was going to suck. I knew that was going to suck. All right. Give me a second to sign in. People are going to be like, why am I watching this emotionally unstable fucking moron? Oh, boy. Let's see here. So let me just say thank you to a few people on the Venmo. Obviously, Barbara, thank you so much. Can't thank you enough. I really can't. Barbara says, tip. Thank you for the tip. I really do appreciate that, Barbara. That goes for Candy as well. Thank you so much, Candy. Really do appreciate you. That is incredibly generous. And she says, we love you, Brian. Right back at you guys. I love you right back, which is why I feel it necessary to involve you and let you guys know what's happening. Thank you to Chris. He says, thank you for all you're doing. And the screen name, I'm not sure if you want me to reveal that, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Chris. Also Christopher. So there's a Chris and a Christopher. Thank you, Christopher, as well. Christopher says, any mission for good is not a failure. Peace, brother. Thank you so much, Chris, for those kind words. Let's see here. Who else we got? Jamie. Thank you so much, Jamie. Enough for a couple donkeys runs. I appreciate that, Jamie, very much. Not a big donkeys fans, but it will go to good use, I promise. Then that also goes for Tom and Victoria, Leslie, all of you guys from the last couple days, Roxanne, Jeffrey, Jean, Roger, Karen, Damon. Appreciate you guys. So let's see here. Let's head over to the YouTube side of things. Let's see here. Michael, you've been over and above today. You really have. Thank you so much, Michael. 100 is not enough for a meal or 2 nowadays, but it is more than enough, I promise you. So thank you, Michael. Thank you, Carl, as well. It's not 100. Thanks, Michael. But here's some bucks for a hamburger. Carl says, very much appreciate that. Carl, thank you so much. And also being here for 22 months, brother. Congratulations. And thank you for your support. Appreciate that. 22 months. That goes for Nola. Thank you, Nola, as well, for your coffee. Well, I appreciate that. It'll be much needed along the way on the journey. So thank you for that. I very much appreciate it. Thank you, Colleen. Silence with signs will stop their excuses for violence. Thank you so much for the $20 contribution. Thank you for the super chat. And you're absolutely right. Silence with signs will stop their excuses with violence. But again, that's not really the kind of stipulation, right? I mean, there's nothing against peaceful protesting and exercising your voice and, you know, using the loudspeaker or anything like that. So that shouldn't be justification for their violence either. So again, that's even more kind of appeasement. I know that's not what you, that's not, and I'm not attacking you for it, and that's not what you meant it, but it can be seen as that, right? Where we're like, okay, they won't allow us the full extent of our First Amendment rights. So we're going to have to kind of curtail ourselves somehow, right? Which isn't right. And, but I very much concur with what you're saying is they're kind of using that as justification to come out and use and perpetrate violence against the protesters. You're 100% right. But that's not ideal, right? That's not the ideal circumstance, but very much appreciate the $20 contribution. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for always being here and contributing, Colleen. Very much appreciated. Hope you have a wonderful day. Kyle's back at it. Let's go, Kyle. Or did I miss somebody? Did I miss somebody? Oh, no, I went the wrong way. That's my fault. That's my fault. Thank you, Deb, for the one gifted membership. Very much appreciate you always being here, always contributing. Very much appreciate your passion, your interest in all of these things and just staying here with us. I very much appreciate it. So thank you, Deb. Thank you, Colleen, the rest of you guys. Thank you to Intune Orange. Love this chat. That's one of the better things that you can hear. If you build a community, a YouTube channel, is that people enjoy the chat, enjoy the community you've built. So Intune Orange, very much appreciate the kind words and you bringing that up. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Olga as well. Thank you so much, Olga, for becoming a new YouTube member. Very much appreciate you for being here. Thank you for signing up. Thank you for becoming a part of the backbone of this community. It goes a long, long way. And I promise I'm not always this emotionally unstable. I promise. Just a lot going on between what's happening in the country, personal stuff, a lot going on. So please bear with me. I do apologize. But thank you, Michael, as well again for rocks. I will be sure to pass that along. I really will. So thank you, Michael, for everything that you've done for the channel. Thank you for everything that you continue to do for the channel. Oh, looks like Jordan found out. So it worked. Hold on. I feel like I'm slobbering all over myself. Sorry. Jordan, looked like it did work at some point. It looks like it did end up going through. I appreciate that very much, brother. Not only your gifted memberships, but also your persistence in it not having it work the first few times. So it really goes to show that you were really trying to get that in there. So I appreciate you, Jordan. Best name, one of my favorite names on planet Earth, by the way, just because of my love for Michael Jordan growing up. So appreciate you in a multitude of different ways, buddy. Appreciate that. Thank you, JD, for the dollar super sticker. Goes a long way, brother. Going right in that swear jar as usual. You've been a big contributor of that, the main contributor, if I have to say so myself. So thank you so much. Appreciate you. Just saying, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. All of this stuff goes a long, long way in helping the channel. Again, we're on our way to 1,000 memberships. We're on our way to 20,000 subscribers. Really starting to hit our stride here. I do believe. I don't just say that. The views have been showing it. The uptick in people coming to the live streams has kind of been showing it. And, I really want to build on that momentum. So I appreciate you guys for gifted memberships and keeping everybody included. Just saying, appreciate you. Hope you have a wonderful day. Nola's back at it. Appreciate you. Please send this to Ukraine. Absolutely. I'll make a donation to the campaign in your name for that amount. How about that? That sound cool? How about that? Appreciate that. Very much appreciate you getting involved, staying involved, whether it's, for us, the chat, the great people of Ukraine, whatever it is. I commend you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Nola. Let's see who's next. My apologies for the sniffles. Thank you, Michael. Again, just unbelievable. Hey, something dumb. Hey, what's that? What's the second word mean? Bumby? We keep trucking. No real failure. You idiot. Fuck, I don't know which one that was on. I don't know what part of the show that was on. My apologies, but thank you so much for the contribution, Michael. Just an unbelievable showing today. I can't thank you enough. Very, very generous and kind and supportive of you. And we very much appreciate you here at Blunt Politics. Just a really valued member of the community. And we thank you, Michael. I appreciate you, dude. I hope you're well. Hope everybody in your family is well. I hope everybody in your surrounding family. I hope everybody's well. That's what I hope. So thank you, Michael. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you, Laurie. Stop it. You did not fail. We love you. We need your voice now more than ever. You are not a failure. Fuck. Who's all righty. Well, I appreciate you, Laurie. I can't get through it, but I appreciate it. God damn it. I look like the Joker right now. But I appreciate you, Laurie. Thank you so much. Thank you, Curious Cat, for the 5. I appreciate you for being there for me. We appreciate you, Pam. Thank you so much for the 10. Wish you were staying in California. Fuck. I'll get through it. I'll get through it. Oh, boy. All right. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Candy. Very much appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I really do. You've had an unbelievable day. All of you guys have been so incredibly generous and nice and supportive. I can't thank you enough. Candy, Vinny, appreciate you, brother. Stay strong. Look at the base. Loves you. I appreciate that so much. Not the 20, 25, 20. You guys are just amazing. Thank you, moms. You're the bestest. Don't beat yourself up. You can't fail if you genuinely tried. Thank you, moms. Appreciate that. Oh, thank you so much, Tim. I appreciate that. I really do. And again, we wouldn't be here without you and the rest of the people help building this channel. It's not a solo effort by any stretch of the imagination. And, a lot went into building this and helping. And I'm very appreciative of everybody that's helped. I'm trying. Thank you so much. Thank you, Paul, as well. Stay strong. I'm trying, brother. I am trying. I really am. I don't know how strong I am. At least I'm not showing it right now, but I'm trying. I appreciate you. That is an incredibly generous contribution. Thank you so much. And I will be sure to put that to good use, Paul. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jess and Danny, for being here for 18 months. Very much appreciate you guys. Have been here since the beginning, and I can't thank you enough. You guys are amazing. And don't forget, we got the Zoom as well tonight. The link already went out for the Zoom. I know it's not the 12th. Forgive me on the date. I missed the 12th, but anybody that wants to get in on the VIP level of the Patreon Zoom can get there. Link is already out there. So again, be looking out for that on the Patreon website. Anybody already signed up, it's out there. It's for you. And I will see you guys tonight. I very much appreciate you guys. I didn't forget you, and I will not forget you. So thank you. Sign up there if you can. Let's see here. What else we got? Let me get into the last. So thank you, Jess and Danny. I will see you guys there, hopefully. That goes for Jin as well. Hold your head high. Lean on us, Brian. Much love. Right back at you, Jin. Very much appreciate your support, dude. You've been a huge boost and a huge help along the way, and I can't thank you for being there, both mentally and emotionally. It's good to have people there. It really is. So thank you, Candy. Again, hubby's in Texas until Saturday, so I'm buying. Friends, stop it. Please stop. I don't want to get you in any trouble, really. Yeah, he's going to come home. He's going to see an empty bank account, and he's going to come after my ass. He'll be finding me on the road somewhere in rural the United States. I'll be pulled over by a pissed off Candy husband demanding the return of the funds. But no, Candy, you're amazing. All jokes aside, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. And I promise to put it to good use. I really do. Thank you so much for your kind words as well. Stephanie, you're a good man, Brian. We need more people like you. Not sure how true that is, but I do appreciate the kind words, Steph. Very much appreciated. I appreciate the boost. But I'll take the faults where it's my fault. I do. So thank you. I appreciate your stuff. I really do. Thank you to everybody and your kind words. Thank you to Elizabeth. You have support. Keep your chin up from Mark P. and Elizabeth. Thank you to both you guys. Really, really can't thank you guys enough. Both Mark and Elizabeth for all of your support along the way. Obviously, Mark's contributions not only in the chat as a member, but also as a mod doing the Lord's work there in the chat. So thank you for that. I want to thank Jimbo. I keep doing it. Sorry, Jim. I want to thank Jim as well for the one gifted, who does not like when I call him that name that I just called him, and I should remember that by now. But Jim, thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother. Hoping you're having a good day. Thank you for your contributions. That goes for Elizabeth again as well. Appreciate you guys. Steph. Appreciate you, JD. Oh, geez, oh my God, cry baby bonus, JK. I love you, man. Oh, it was coming. I knew it was coming at some point, but again, it was not the first time on stream that's happened. Probably won't be the last by any stretch of the imagination. But like I said, I'm an emotional guy. I've always have been. Definitely kind of an emotion on the sleeve, guy. So there's no real guessing as to where I lie. If I'm pissed off, you're probably going to know I'm pissed off. You know what I mean? If I'm sad, it'll probably show as well. So JD, appreciate the ribbing coming from Boston, coming from a big Irish family. That's what we give each other anyway. So that fits right in because I'm I'd be sure to be made fun of if I was home to begin with. So thank you for making me feel home. Thank you, JD. Appreciate you, brother. Let's see here. Thank you, Yakov. Right back at you, brother. Right back at you, dude. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for, again, referencing the community that's been built here. That is all on you guys. It really is. The fantastic people in there build a community. I didn't build anything. I just kind of gave a spot for you guys to congregate, and you guys did the rest. So I appreciate you guys for being, upstanding citizens, great people, friendly people, social people, inclusive, welcoming people of all shapes, sizes, colors, creeds, nationalities, religions into the chat. So very much appreciate you guys as well. So thank you, JD. Thank you, Yakov. Thank you, Dyslexic Fingers, which is still maybe one of the best names on the fucking platform in my eyes. I just started watching a stream. I think you're one of the best political streamers on YouTube. You didn't fail. Fuck. I can't get through any of these. I can't get through. All right. Frank the Tank. Well, that's very nice of you, Dyslexic Fingers. I very much appreciate that. I do. Very kind of you. Really kind words, and I don't know, hopefully I can live up to those kind words at some point, right? Hopefully at some point I will be looked at as one of the better political streamers on YouTube, and that will be fantastic. I appreciate that, though. Very nice of you, very kind of you, and sorry for the sorry you're getting this version in like your first couple streams while watching. I promise it's not always like this. I promise. But thank you for your contributions. I very much appreciate it. It goes a long, long way. And thank you for your kind words as well. Let's see. And to round it out, Brenda, thank you so much. Brenda Triplet 2233. We get knocked down, but we get up again. We're tub thumping, huh? We're going to end this with a little tub thumping. All right. I get it. Believe me, I had the Chumbawamba CD, Brenda. You're not going to slip one past me. I told you, I had the Columbia House. I had fucking CDs for a penny. Sade to Chumbawamba. And everything in between. So thank you. I probably still have that somewhere. And the fact that I can remember the title to the fucking Chumbawamba tub thumping and not some of like the more, pertinent facts is goes to show you how in depth I was in the music back then. Yeah. The Columbia House was great, bro. I'm telling you, it was the shit. CDs for a penny. I don't know what it was. Like CDs for 10 cents, something crazy. I don't even remember what it was now, but it was like we just had stacks and stacks of CDs show up at the door, and I think it was like $3 every time. Something stupid. You know what I mean? It was just like you might as well get all the music. The only thing we didn't indulge was like the country side of things. But for obvious reasons. All right, I'll let you guys go. I'm way over time. I appreciate you and your understanding. Thank you so much for bearing with me as we make, difficult announcements and show emotion on the internet where most people men don't want to do that. So, but I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. That's my motto. Fuck them. Fuck ICE. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Vladimir Putin. Fuck Russia. That whole thing. Like we just fuck them. At this point, let's fucking go. We're fed up. We've had enough. We're kind of at the tipping point. And again, we got nothing to fucking lose. So there's nothing more dangerous than a cornered rat with nothing to fucking lose. And that's exactly where they're putting us right now. And fuck them. That's all I got to say. All right. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tonight at the VIP Zoom. And I'll have to we'll play tomorrow's show by ear, kind of maybe looking out for an announcement because I got a lot of shit that I'm going to have to deal with in the next few days. So, I'll try to squeeze it in if I can, but if not, just be looking out for like a post on the YouTube channel and elsewhere, just kind of filling you in on what's going on. And we'll go from there. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you. A big thanks to Michael McAndrews today. Big thanks to all of you guys, JD, every single one of you, Colleen, Dyslexic Fingers, Brenda, every single one of you has been absolutely fantastic. Mark and Elizabeth, Paul P, every single one of you, Carl, who else? Who else am I missing? Everybody. If I had to go back through it, would be here for another half hour, but just know that it's appreciated. Thank you so much to everybody who's contributed in any way, shape, or form. And, we're not, oh, no way, Suzanne. You did not. Oh, my goodness. On Venmo. Thank you, Suzanne. And Suzanne says, Brian, please don't give up. All right, I'm going to try to get through this. I was going good, Suzanne. I was going good. All right. Please don't give up. Fuck me. Please don't give up. We need you more now than ever. You have created an amazing show, supportive community that I and others have come to fuck me. That I've come to rely on. And she says she'll be keeping me close in her heart. So thank you, Suzanne. Fuck. I almost had it, Sue. What the fuck? I almost had it. I was almost out of here. No, really, honestly, all jokes aside, thank you so much. That's incredibly generous of you, and I can't thank you guys all enough for your support. Roxanne, Barbara, all of you guys, every single one of you. So, all right, before I just make a complete ass out of myself and everybody unsubscribes, I'm going to leave now. I appreciate you, and be looking out for tomorrow. Hopefully I can be with you, but if not, look out for a post. All right, so thank you guys. I appreciate it, and I am out of here. This might be the one show I ask you not to share. Or if you do share it, just cut out the end, maybe. That would be great. Appreciate it. All right, I'm out of here. Bye, guys.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
God bless the United States.
The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. A new form of vicious violation to our country. For minors, do we love minors? I love minors. For minors, do we love minors? I love minors. They're just getting acclimated. You know what that means? Acclimated.
That would be awesome and extremely difficult at the same time.
Water coming here is dead. When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular. Wrong. We're a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.
Where you going? Nowhere.
Refer to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Well, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. There were mass protests under Biden. There were mass protests under Obama. I want to go back and check that out there, Lenny. I want to check that out there, Lenny.
To call the White House. Do your fucking job.
Or go fuck yourself. Or go fuck yourself.
Venezuela. Did you just see the girl? Venezuela. It's unbelievable.
are so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful love. Give yourselves a round of applause. You're so lovely. Everyone's so lovely.
I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
Yesterday's a hard word for me.
Fucking Nazis. Fucking Nazis. Fucking Nazis.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis. I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Yes, of course, hence the name. Movement, it moves a certain distance, then it stops, you see. A revolution gets its name by always coming back around in your face. You tried to kill me, you son of a bitch. So welcome to the revolution.
Thank you guys. I'll see you tonight in the VIP Zoom. Whoever's showing up. Thank you so much for all your support. Can't thank you guys enough. I really can't. Appreciate you.
The big, fat, sloppy United States.